happened just a couple of months after that tragedy that happened here so many years ago, and how horse racing stepped in and brought our nation together. Good to have you with us on this opening day of the meet here as we're back downstate, Belmont at the Big A, and a terrific card on hand to kick things off. We're only 10 minutes away from the opener here in South Ozone Park, New York. We'll get to it here in just a few moments. Greg Wolf alongside New York Racing Association handicapper Andy Serling. Terrific summer. We had such a great time upstate at Saratoga, but good to be back down home. And we kicked things off in a good way here with this opening card.
As I say, there's no place like home, and obviously Saratoga's been home to me for many years as well, and it was a great meet, and thanks to everybody for helping make it, in fact, making it as great as it was. We're back, and we have a good 8-race card to kick things off. We're only on from 1 to 3 today, but I looked through, at least through September, only one other day is slightly abbreviated.
Over 1.2 million fans came through the gates at Saratoga.
And over $1 billion was bet between the 49 total days that we were up there, so thanks to you for making it a memorable summer.
Absolutely. Here's what we have ahead, presented by Claiborne Farm. Going to kick things off again in just under 10 minutes. We'll bring you the first 4 on the card, and this whole card, it is fun. This first race to kick it off, too. Incredibly competitive. Maiden special weight, 1.16 miles over the turf for 2-year-old fillies. As we look at the field that will kick things off in here, 2 from the barn of Chad Brown, a first-time starter. The 3 Alibi, the 6 Memorized, who will move the turf after sprinting on the dirt first time out. With more on how these 2-year-old fillies look to kick things off here downstate. Hello, Maggie Wolfendale.
Hello, Greg Wolf, as we'll begin with your favorite. That is Memorized in here. And it's funny, Chad Brown could not have 2 different looking fillies here in this first race, as we'll look at her switching to the turf in her second start. Look, I think she's suited to the conditions because she's long and lanky and looks as though she'll be, appreciate at least the stretch out, as she is that half sister to Zandon. But also there are 2 other turf winners in the family. My problem is she has gone the wrong way since her debut. You hope to see horses strengthen up a bit. She has not. In fact, I think she's gotten weaker behind the saddle, in her hindquarters. She's lightened up quite a bit. I think she'll appreciate this move. Granted, her sister kind of has the same look as well, her 3-year-old sister who runs for Chad Brown, and she's more of a turf horse, but she's just not my type. Where Todd Pletcher, he'll send out 2 in here, including Always Ready. I don't love practical jokes on the turf per se, especially going long, but this one is half to Buttercream Babe, and the dam, she was 3 for 21 on the turf. She has a turf hoof, and with that inside draw, she is awfully sharp. So look for her with this stretch out and distance to be forward. But the horse that I like most, who is also trying the turf for the first time here, is number 7, Germantown, for Todd as well. Daughter of Liam's Map. I love them on the turf. The dam, she went 2 for 6 on the turf, and the dam is actually half to a Greatest Stakes winner, multiple stakes winner, Zendaya, and massive turf hoof on her here in the paddock. Very long, rangy, elegant frame. Should love the extra ground. She's striding out beautifully here in the paddock, Greg. She's the one that makes the best impression on me.
All right, thank you, Maggie. We'll take a look at how she looks on the track as they cross over. And here comes our post parade for the first of this meet. Always Ready. We'll kick things off. Kendrick Harmouche, Todd Pletcher gets on turf for the first time and stretches out.
Half to Buttercream Babe, who's a solid turf stakes performer, but the other foals in the dam did not run very well on the turf, just 1 for 4 on the turf.
3 to 1 here. Sweet Little Lila, second time on turf.
I think she comes out of one of the strongest 2-year-old maiden races of the summer in Saratoga. She was wide in a day you wanted to be inside, and I think she's the horse to beat.
9 to 1. Alibi, the other Chad Brown runner with turf pedigree.
Yeah, this horse has plenty of pedigree on the dam side, but the way this horse is getting bet, I don't know if she can run, but she's taking
Dam
no
won the
money.
grade 3 Weah on the grass. Here is Oscar bound Melanie Giddings with Jose Gomez.
Yeah, they'll try the turf with this horse, and there's really not a ton of turf pedigree to speak of on this horse, who showed some speed first time in the dirt, but did no running afterwards.
2 sprints stretching out. Bramble Blast with Dylan Davis.
You like this horse more than me, Greg. I expect this horse, along with Oscar Bound, to be forward.
Memorized. Chad Brown, the favorite, debuted sprinting on the dirt.
A half to a couple of turf winners, but mostly notably a half to Zandon going to the turf. And I'm going to let these expensive Resolute horse, one of them beat me before I start jumping on the bandwagon at a short price.
A $900,000 daughter of Tappet. And then Germantown, who impressed. Maggie in the paddock, Todd Pletcher, Ricardo Santana Jr.
I'm with Maggie. I think this horse is, if I had heard her, I would have agreed. Fortunately, some issues up here. But I think this horse is very interesting, trying to bet turf for the first time. There's plenty of turf on the dam side.
5 minutes a post to kick off this card. And you can play it all, including a pick 5 that starts right here by getting signed up with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. The offer, there it is on your screen. $200 deposit match, new customer bonus with that code right there at sign up match 200. Punch that in, and you're ready to rock at NairaBets.com. So let's go back to one of the two from the Pletcher barn. 5-1, always ready. Surprising that this one's 5-1.
You know, it's hard
the
to
pedigree?
know. It's hard to know. It's you know, with I think it's some riders out of town, and without Irad here to take too much money, it's hard to really know. I guess. I mean, Todd comes off a Saratoga meet that was very good. The horse ran well in the dirt. Yeah, I mean, I guess what I would say is, and here she is finishing third in this race. I don't think she's run that well in the dirt, but she does have a pedigree to suggest she can move up on the turf, at least in the dam side. I'd rather take her at 5-1 than take 2-1 and Memorized. I'll tell you that. Memorized, I just don't really get.
So 2 sprints, as mentioned, on dirt. One of them a muddy sealed effort where she missed by 3/4 of a length, but the pedigree, no question, to move forward on grass. Dam, 3-time winner on the turf, was stakes place. As mentioned, produced Buttercream Babe, who was multiple graded stakes placed on the grass. And 5-1 for the Todd Pletcher barn that wound up in a tie with Chad Brown for that Saratoga training title.
Yeah, both of them had excellent meets up there. And I think that the biggest change for Todd up there was it's never a surprise to see Todd do well with 2-year-olds, as if he's doing that for since he's basically gotten into the game. It's the success he had with turf horses, and I think it really shows a concerted effort by him as well as his owners, but to get more turf horses, because it used to be you could win a lot of 2-year-old races there with dirt horses. Now you got to have turf horses too, and Todd was pretty much getting dominated by other trainers in the turf races. Well, this year he really flipped the script, and that was a big part of his success up there. Because every turf race that 2-year-old race that he won was one that Chad Brown wasn't winning, frankly. Yeah. So, I mean, Todd had an excellent meet in all regards up in Saratoga.
Now, you've gone to this one here. Sweet Little Lila, Brittany Russell, second-time starter, and does have the experience of going a mile and a 16th on the grass.
Yeah, Deep Learner has entered up in the fake grade 1 and then Talma up at Woodbine this weekend, and she's probably going to be the favorite up there, and it may have been the most impressive 2-year-old performance all summer in Saratoga, getting an 84 buyer. And I think that was a day that Saving Ground was a bit at a premium on the inner turf course, and she was 2 wide in the first turn and 3 wide in the second turn. So I think her effort was better than it looks, and I don't think it was that bad to begin with. So I'm going to go with a horse I think is a little bit more of a known commodity. Don't know how good she is. So listen, if the 1 or 7 really take to the turf, or even either of the Chad Brown runners take to the grass, she could be in trouble.
How does she look compared to that debut August 8th? Has she grown up at all? Let's go to Maggie.
No. Well, that's the thing, Greg, is I don't think she ever necessarily will. She is a horse that barely pushes 15 hands. She's quite small, quite petite. Now, I do agree with Andy that she was up against it from that far outside post, and now today she draws far more favorably, just one off the rail. She was a little green in the paddock at Saratoga, but is nicely settled here today. So we do see John Velasquez giving her a little bit extra warm-up, saying make sure we get out of the gate today. And while I do think there's some other pace in here, look for her to at least break forwardly and get a good position going forward. I think she makes sense, but I couldn't get over the appearance of number 7, Germantown, and I do really think that she'll appreciate getting to the turf. As number 5, Bramble Blast, speaking of speed, I think we will likely see it from her, depending on what the 1 decides to do and how she breaks. But Bramble Blast sprinting in her last 2 starts, even trying the Bolton Landing as a maiden. I wrote in my notes last time out, all turf sprinter. So I'm not totally enthused with her stretching things out because she's just so compact. She's a lovely frame of a filly, but she just screams sprinter to me, not necessarily longer. I will give her credit though. While she's sharp, it is very contained. She has conserved a lot of that energy. Now Chad Brown sending out a first-time starter, number 3, Alibi, who is a daughter of Munnings, the Dam. She's a great stakes winner on the turf. There's plenty of pedigree. So while this is only the first foal though, she does look as though a start might be beneficial. Just kind of like 90% fit. Does have a massive engine on her though. I really like how well developed she is behind the saddle. She's been a professional throughout. Like I said, Greg probably needs one for fitness, maybe, just to kind of get that race mentality to her, but the board is definitely saying not this time either.
All right, here we go. About to load to kick off this Belmont at the Big A Fall Meet. Pick 5, about to eclipse $200,000 here, and it's Chad Brown, memorized. First time on turf, 2-1 favorite.
I kind of wonder a little bit with Irad Ortiz going to Kentucky, whether now Flavien Prat's going to get massively overbet. And I wonder if that is playing a big role in this horse taking a lot of money. Obviously, the Chad Brown factor as well in the purchase price. But I'm not saying Memorize can't win. She obviously can. She's a total unknown in this race, and she's got enough turf pedigree to handle it. But you really want to bet her at 2-1?
No.
I mean, she's half the 2 turf winners, but the horse she's after that was good was Zandon. And I don't think they paid $900,000 for her thinking, probably have a turf horse here. They're thinking Kentucky Oaks. That's why you pay that kind of money. So 9-5 now.
Wow.
I'm against.
Yeah.
She wins, I lose.
Good luck. Pick 5 starts here. The meet starts here in this opening race here on our Thursday coverage on FS2. Belmont at the Big A. We kick things off. Send it upstairs. Chris Griffin with the opener.
Three out. Bramble Blast. Memorized. Germantown to the outside. Last to load. Goes in. All set. Belmont at the Big A. And they're off. Always Ready sprints right to the front and has company immediately from Oscar Bound. These two hook up early, well off the rail, as Always Ready is getting out just a touch, and Kendrick Carmouche will move down over towards the rail, and Always Ready now secures the front. About 3 wide there in the 3 path comes Oscar Bound, who's tracking in second. Just behind them at the rail is Bramble Blast in third. Then comes a comfortable Germantown in 4th. They're followed to the inside in 5th by Sweet Little Isla. The 2 trailers, Memorized and Alibi. They worked to the back stretch and they went 23.20 for the opening quarter mile. It's Always Ready, trying to take them all the way. Followed by Oscar Bound. Under a snug hold towards the outside, is back to within a half length of the leader, and tightly at the rail comes Bramble Blast and Dylan Davis. They're still in 3rd and moving forward after the top 2. Center of the course is going to be Germantown and Ricardo Santana Jr. through a 47.91 half-mile time. Towards the back end of the field, it's Sweet Little Island, no move yet, just to the inside of a patiently ridden Memorized, and the trailer is Alibi. They work into the far turn, and now getting the cue is Always Ready. Always Ready is still up by a neck, and here comes Oscar Bound and Jose Gomez, and they're coming for that lead now. Bramble Blast is down towards the inside. Germantown is dropping back quickly. Memorize is work towards the outside. No room yet for Sweet Little Isla, trying to rally on for John Velasquez towards the inside. 5 of them across the course here in the opener. Memorize is getting in a touch, but Memorize now slingshots to the lead. It's Memorize in front. Alibi starts to roll. Sweet Little Isla as well. Memorize, Flavien Prat, they got the jump. They're inside the final 16th. Sweet Little Isla's making up ground, but running out of time. Memorize wins the opener. Sweet Little Isla's second, then came Alibi, and re-rallying was Germantown in 1 minute 42.99 seconds.
Memorize stretching out, switching to grass, and wins as the 8-5 favorite to kick off the meet.
And they were moving up front, so no surprise the closers dominated the final order of finish. But this horse got that clean outside run, and I guess the money that made this horse 8-5 was right, I guess. I do think there's an argument that the second horse could have won the race, overcommitting to the inside and ending up, getting shuffled behind horses. And while the race developed, by the time able to get herself out, she just had too much to do. Memorize got the money over Sweet Little Lila, who probably was a little bit unlucky with the other Chad Brown runner running third, but basically 6th early wins, 5th early second, 7th early third. This race completely collapsed.
Yeah. 6, 2, 3, 7, Memorize, start number 2 for this $900,000 daughter of Tapit. Moves to the grass, stretching out a distance. And now that maiden breaking win on the resume. And on to bigger and better things we will see going forward. Flavien Prat for Chad Brown, Resolute Racing, and the favorite kicks off the card and the meet for the win.
Yep, and I guess we could get used to Flavien Prat being overbet in these spots. Maybe this horse wasn't overbet, but you're not going to be able to get me off that hill that says that the result could have been different in this race, as Sweet Little Lila was extremely unlucky here. Memorize got the money, though.
We'll take a timeout. Prices from the opener. When we come back, we'll set up race 2 when we return. Just underway here on our Fox Sports 2 coverage. The move to the lawn, the right one. Memorized, easy time here in the opener.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing, get expert picks, boost your bankroll with weekly promotions, and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
Back with you on our Thursday coverage here on Fox Sports 2. You're watching America's Day at the Races, brought to you in part where you can play it all at Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. The opener goes to Memorized. 8-5, Chad Brown, Resolute Racing, and Flavien Prat. Let's go to Maggie.
Here with Flavien Prat. And Flavien, you looking at the way that she moves it looked as though Memorize should appreciate getting to the turf. You were aboard her in her first start on the dirt. What were your feelings kind of going into today about the surface change?
Yeah, we sure felt like she was going to appreciate the turf. I mean, I thought she ran okay first time out, but felt like, yeah, that was more of a appreciation.
And too, she just got that clear sailing trip today. Once she kind of got herself straightened out, she really went on.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I got her outside, and she made a good run, and I was very impressed the way she kept running through the wire. Yeah.
You'll be aboard a first-time starter coming up later in race 4. Make a little love. Was she a scratch up in Saratoga? I feel like she was meant to run, I think, the last few weeks up there, but I loved her workout in which you were aboard on the Oklahoma turf. Talk about her coming in today.
Yeah, she's doing very well. Like you say, she was supposed to run a few weeks ago. She's been ready for quite a while. So, yeah, I mean, I really like the way she's moving on turf, and hopefully she can run a good race.
Yeah, she really exploded in that workout. Like you said, hopefully does it out there today. Well, best of luck rest of the car, but congrats here.
Thank you, Maggie.
All right, Fabian Pratt back here at the Big A and winning races like he does, Greg.
One of the absolute best in the business, reigning Eclipse Award winner, having another outstanding year. Memorized, and Pratt kicked things off on this card here in the first of the meet. Belmont at the Big A, and see if Memorized can continue to move forward on the grass in that next start against winners. This race, $35,000 claiming tag, so everybody for sale. Maiden claiming race, 6 furlong sprint. Difficult race to know where to go. The favorite right now is a horse, filly. Twice she's gone long on the grass, and she's the favorite.
Right. And in this case, George Weaver, and listen, the best of traders get horses completely wrong. But boy, did George Weaver get this one wrong if she wins here, as she's run twice going long in the turf at Saratoga, and you can use the excuse, which trainers for some reason seem to use. I didn't want to run turf, I wanted to run long, except when he got the first opportunity in dirt, he's going short. But basically, I think George is just saying, I'm trying to find a spot that maybe she could be competitive in.
Yeah. Get a look at this field in just a few moments. Let's take a look at some of the meet highlights and what we have to look forward to coming up. Sunday, November 2nd, we go till then at this meet. 45 stakes, 9.45 million in purses. We've got 4 grade 1s, 5 Breeders' Cup win and your ins. And championship weekend's going to be here before we know it.
Well, I mean, it's
Early
the fall,
start.
right? I mean, the Breeders' Cup, which has basically destroyed our entire fall racing here, but the Breeders' Cup is less than 2 months away. I think it's the 31st of October,
Yeah.
Halloween, and November 1st. So what are we, 6.5 weeks away from the Breeders' Cup? So we're closing in on that part of the year when horses actually do run against each other.
And
That
means,
one day a year.
Yeah.
That one miraculous day a
It
year.
means everyone's going to show up to Del Mar wearing costumes, right, on Halloween?
Well, everybody shows wearing costumes. It just depends how you exactly define a costume. I'll be wearing something like this.
Floral Park coming up on our Sunday coverage. 6 furlong sprinting on the grass. Fillies and mares, 3 and up. And Luna Luska comes in having won 3 in a row, including her only 2 tries on turf. Stakes win last time out. It was back in July at Horseshoe Indy.
Yeah, well, she's also a 3-year-old facing older horses for what it's worth. And I feel like she's scratched out of a very competitive Galway. I think they yelled at for mispronouncing it, giving the Irish pronunciation. Galway? That's Galway. Galway?
Gal.
Gal is upstate.
Yeah.
Gaul is...
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to rely. It's Greg's fault if I screwed that one up. She's obviously got a lot of speed. She's under the gun from the rail. She may be the speed of the speed in what could be a quick pace. She's also got to go from 5 furlongs there to 6 furlongs. She'll be every bit of that 5 to 1. But, you know, listen, maybe you think she's an up-and-coming horse that has much more upside than the others because pretty much everybody else in here has shown their face. You know who they are.
Well, next door, Love Appeals. Miguel Clement will have Ricardo Santana Jr. aboard. He's one over $400,000 on the lawn.
Yeah, I think more attention will go to the other Clement, the 3, in this race because they'll perceive her bad trip last time where she'd have trouble at the start, but she got a great ride thereafter. And she did finish second to the best filly turf or mare turf sprint in the country in her last start.
Now, yeah.
Right, and Futures Now is, to me, is a bona fide star in sprinting. They should give her a chance in the Breeders' Cup. Why not? But this horse got a perfect trip last time, and I think ran pretty well. And, you know, Love Appeals has run some big races in the past, so I actually kind of prefer her of the 2 Clement horses.
Yeah, as you said, she's got big race. I mean, 94 buyer on the turf in the autumn days. 3 starts to go and kind of just getting a chance to get going now. But stablemate next door, as you said, who she faced last time out, the trouble she had, major player.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to, you know, I mean, okay, she got a great ride from Manny Franco. This is not the last
one. Who are we looking at?
Well,
Oh, this is from last year.
Okay.
At Saratoga.
Right. Okay. Oh, okay. She won this race, right? Okay. Right. It was her last race that we were referring to where she had trouble at the start and stuff. Obviously, her good races, she's pretty good.
Okay. Manny Franco will ride for Miguel Clement. Look, 11 of 17 starts, has been first or second, putting together a nice resume on the grass. And Luna Luska, there's big question marks.
Yeah, I mean, she's got to get 6 furlongs. She's got to do it against some sort of hardened veterans. But, I mean, once again, if you like Luna Luska, and I'm not a big fan of her chances in this race, so I don't think she's impossible. We don't really know who she is. She has a lot more room to improve than the other ones. In her last race, she got a pretty good figure. So she's not that far from being one of the horses to beat. She's going to have to do it at 6 furlongs against some quality older horses.
That's coming up on Sunday. Let's get back to today. Race 2 starts the early pick 4. $35,000 maiden claiming sprint, 6 furlongs. That's our current favorite. She's only raced twice. She's gone long on the grass both times. Today will be sprinting on the dirt in a big change and a very short price for the George Weaver barn. We'll be back with the post parade next.
$1,600,000, $1,600,000 bid now $650,000, $1,650,000. Anybody else want $650,000 bid today? $1,650,000 $1,600,000. Thank you.
The sun shines bright on Caraconte. His first crops of racing age are showing brilliance on the racetrack with a high percentage of stakes winners. His versatility is evidenced by winners on all surfaces across the globe.
She feels more than pretty. She feels fantastic.
It is all she feels pretty.
Yet another grade 1 for this magnificent daughter of Caraconte.
Caraconte, standing at Gainesway.
Enhance your handicapping with AI Fast Facts, exclusively on Naira Bets. Open your Naira Bets app, click View Runner Details, and a stat-driven fact will appear for all U.S. thoroughbred racehorses. Download the Naira Bets app to start using Fast Facts today.
RaceLens is the most in-depth product in horse racing, with unique features found nowhere else. True odds, predictive analysis, and pace projection. RaceLens. It will change the way you follow horse racing and take your game to the next level.
Back with you on our Fox Sports 2 coverage. It's brought to you in part by Hillendale at Alapa. You're watching America's Day at the Races, opening day of this meet here, Belmont at the Big A. And we're 12 minutes to post in race 2 coming up. A tough one to decipher here. There's a first-time starter right there for Mark Hennig. Grit and Glitter, the 1. We'll have Ricardo Santana Jr. aboard. 6-1 first time out. Just not a lot to go on in this race, especially those who have form. It's not the best of form. Let's go to Maggie for more.
Yeah, we'll actually begin right there with that first-time starter, Greg. That is Grit and Glitter for Mark Hennig, and she is a daughter of Accelerate, who admittedly his progeny have proven at least best of the ones that can run, they like going longer on the dirt. And she kind of gives that impression just a bit. But on the bottom side, well, there's not that much immediate pedigree. Look, they only paid $20,000 for her at a digital sale as a yearling. But the dam is half to a multiple stakes winner, toes on ice, I should say, who won several stakes as a 2-year-old. So at least a little bit of precocity. And she, watching her workouts, granted going back a little ways, a little over a month ago, on August 2nd, she was breaking out of the gate on the inside of Atfield, who was a first-time out winner, albeit on the turf up at Saratoga. A little slower than him out of the stalls, but then they went head and head, had a little bit of trouble keeping up late, but still tried quite hard, which I appreciated. Obviously, he has a little bit of talent, and this is not a tough spot. Looking at her here in the paddock overall, she looks fit enough. Probably needs one maybe to strengthen up just a touch, but then again, with this crew, I think she stacks up favorably against several of them. We'll see if she does need a little bit more ground to work with. That would be my main concern for her as she debuts at the 6 furlongs. Now, number 3, Big Heleonora, she debuted going 3/4 on a muddy sealed racetrack, and she's about the biggest, kind of chunkiest audible that I have seen. So a lot of times those heavier horses, they just find those wet tracks a bit difficult. And while she was rushed to get up to the lead, she eventually couldn't keep up and just threw in the towel readily. She is a lot more fit here at second asking, which is typical for Linda Rice. And 2, she gets a fast track to work with today, as she also gets a drop in class. I think she makes a good deal of sense as your favorite. Number 8, Stylish Gem, daughter of Practical Joke, as I said in the first race. I prefer them on the dirt. And there's not an abundance of turf pedigree. It's more tilted to the dirt, and she looks it here in the paddock. And boy, she's a big, good-looking filly too. There's a lot of her, a lot of size and substance, and as she faces this field, dropping out of a maiden special weight open and New York bred company, Greg, she definitely looks the best in the paddock.
9-5. She's being bet like she's the best in the paddock as well. Stylish Gem cuts back in distance, dirt for the first time. Eric Cancel will ride for George Weaver. And the only one that remains of the 2 he had entered.
I'm not going to be surprised if this horse is successful here. George obviously coming off good numbers with 2-year-olds, but I don't think this really fits into that category, to be fair. In the sense that this is a turf to dirt move. This is... she has a better dirt pedigree than she does a turf pedigree. I agree with that. But George knew that going in. George isn't as successful as he's been because he doesn't know his horse's pedigrees. Yet, he ran this horse going a mile on the turf for the first time, where she didn't lift a hoof. He ran her a mile and a 16th in the turf the second time, where she didn't lift a hoof. And now he's immediately dropping her, and he's running her in a dirt sprint. So, yeah, he's saying I got her wrong, but he's also saying I just don't think she's very good. They paid $85,000 for her back in April at a 2-year-old sale. Now listen, every owner in the game has paid a lot of money for horses that just have no real value. And that's what they're basically saying here. And she may win, Stylish Gem. But how you can justify taking 8-5 on this horse is lost on me, Greg. It's completely lost on me.
Part of it, too, is, yeah, it's going to
She's
name
never lifted a hoof.
recognition, but it's also that last work. In terms of that last dirt work, DRF Clock Report had it as a very strong dirt drill. B.
That's good for this group, yeah. I get it.
So
So
that's
that's probably
part of
why
it.
the horse is getting bet like that. Okay, I get it. Listen,
And look, everyone who has run in here, and even those who haven't, this is a give-up race. I mean, you're saying
no question.
we got it wrong here, right?
Yeah, well, to be fair, I mean, Jimmy Ferraro started the horse you like, Piece of Gold, who's way too big a price at 8-1 on the dirt.
Yeah.
So he's going back to where he was. So I get that. Linda's running where she ran. She caught a sloppy track.
No, but just easier
George is
company.
just-
yeah. Well, here's the one. So first-time starter, Grit and Glitter, Mark Hennig.
Half the 2 horse didn't do much running. I put the horse in there out of respect for the pedigree. Not getting bet that strongly. We'll see if it comes down.
Rouge Grand Jour debuts Jimmy Ferraro.
There's just no pedigree to speak of, and this horse is a very big price for Jimmy, who has a live horse outside.
Big Heleonora, probably just because it's Linda Rice taking this much money?
Yeah, I think she's going to drift up based on doubles. This horse would probably be a little bit better price. But I like Linda Rice, second-time stars. And I like the fact that Kendrick goes back after having to ease this horse first time.
OP Overlord, blinkers on, drops down.
Drop down as well for Mike Maselli after doing no running first time out at a huge price.
Mappy, Katie Davis for Gary Contessa, 7-2.
First time this horse has ever been entered in the dirt, and first time ever entered to go short. The last race was cut back when the race came off the turf. Has yet to do any running.
Piece of Gold at least showed some ability against a somewhat productive field that was better.
I agree. I think this horse is an overlay at 7-1. I had kind of overlooked her first. You liked her, and I thought you made good points about her.
And Stylish Gem, 9-5 on the dirt debut and the sprint debut coming up for George Weaver.
Yeah, listen, this horse may well win. I didn't want to bet the favorite in the first race, and that horse won. Thought that horse was overbet. Horse ended up winning. This one's going to beat me at a short price as well. I picked her, I think, third. I won't be shocked if she wins, but I just think it's too short a price to take.
5 minutes, race 2. It starts in early pick 4. And we want to remind everyone of this promo, which we do not have. But I
got to tell you, it was a great promo. One of the greatest promos you'll never see.
$15 bonus today, playing with Naira Bets. Bet at least $75 each, Churchill Downs and Belmont of the Big A. And get a $15 bonus, win or lose. You do have to opt in at NairaBets.com. All right, Big Helianora. Linda Rice, second-time starter, took money, too, in a better group first time out.
Yeah, I'm not going to bet her at 5-2 in here. And I think her 5-2 odds shows what the general public thinks in the field. Right now, they're only betting 2 of them. I guess the 6 is taking some money. I'm not sure why. 2-1, she's a joke. I would never bet her at 2-1. But she took some money first time, and Linda Rice first-time stars don't get bet that much to be 7-1. And she showed speed, so she showed something, and then she ended up being eased. Kendrick comes back, which suggests to me that something went wrong last time, because if he eased her because she just can't run, I think Kendrick could have found something better to do than ride this horse. So I think it's a good sign Kendrick is back, but once again, 2-1, not for me.
So 3s for Maggie and Andy. Certainly, I don't like that price. Was 9-2 morning line. Yeah. Zuby coming out, though. Everyone's price is going to get short of the 4 scratch, who was a major player.
But she's third choice in the doubles behind the 1. The 8 is a heavy favorite in doubles, probably about 8-5, and the 1 is the second choice.
That man right there, what a breakthrough summer he had at Saratoga. 38 wins, best Saratoga of his career, 4th in the standings. $2.9 million in earnings over the summer.
No, he had a tremendous summer, and since he's come to New York and hooked up with B.J. Campo as his agent, they've just been doing great stuff together, and I hope Ricardo keeps riding well.
And he did it doing everything. Turf sprints, long on the grass, any kind of race, very versatile.
I think I can ride. No 2 ways about it. We're blessed by having a lot of good riders.
He was one of the big stories of the summer, no question, at Saratoga. Let's go back to Maggie.
That's right, and Ricardo riding not for just one stable, riding for a lot of different trainers and owners and having that abundance of success. So riding here for Mark Hennig, as we'll take a look here at Gary Contessa's charge. That's number 6, Mappy, and she has been one that in her previous efforts has been tough to handle in the preliminaries when it comes to saddling her, just her time in the paddock. Now, she's still a bit tough to get the tack on, though they did it inside and she wasn't too wound up by it all. Obviously, as I always say, it's so quiet here at Aqueduct compared to Saratoga. So I think the horses respond favorably to it. But once she got out on track here with Katie Davis aboard, she's been very settled. And I like to see that. Now, it does bother me, like Andy pointed out, that all of her races have been to go long, and the 6 furlongs does concern me a bit because she's a bit of a longer framed filly, but she does make a good impression. I like the fact that she's settled nicely since getting out on the racetrack. Now, number 5, Op Overlord, not much to like, not much to recommend based upon her first effort. That was in a restricted maiden special weight, but she pretty much blew out, to be fair. the winner came from well off of it, and Op Overlord really did no running and had no impact on the running of that race whatsoever. But she lunged, she was off slow, she just did a lot of things wrong. I wasn't in the paddock that day to observe her in the prelims before that race, and she was a massive price. But today she's gotten a really nice warm up with Dylan Davis, who too sticks around like Kendrick Carmouche does on Big Helianora. And Op Overlord just got a really nice warm up, probably the best of anybody out there. Do I think she's a win candidate? Possibly no, but I do think she'll run a lot better than that first race would suggest, Greg.
A lot of guessing in this one unless the public is just right about this stylish gem, and maybe that is that work most recently on the dirt, but that is a short price to take.
I can only think it's the work they're betting this horse. Because the other thing is this horse hasn't been bet a nickel in either start. And I get it. George Weaver's won a lot of races this summer. He wins a lot of races, but it's not Saratoga anymore. And, you know, this is not going to take a Herculean effort to win this race. So I'm not going to be surprised when this horse wins, but I just would never take. And now is 8-5, and now the 3's coming up a little bit. So I wonder if by post time this horse could even be 6-5, which to me is just lunacy.
Will someone else step up? I mean, these are the kinds of races where things happen.
Sure.
35 lower level maiden claiming group, a lot of horses dropping in class, but that is a significant amount of money here on the favorite.
And I have to think, I mean, that's one of the things that's really changed in the game is the amount of money that horses take based on the workout reports from DRF especially. So, you know, that's a big factor, especially in 2-year-old races. But you even see in other races, horses, why is this horse getting bet? Oh, this horse has been working very, very well, and it could be an older horse. So they are having a demonstrative effect, and they're having a demonstrative effect because they actually are valuable. It's not fool's gold. It's tangible stuff that works. I will say, there's still other factors, and I think, and this is not a fault of DRF, I don't think when they gave a workout of a B, they said, bet this horse at 8-5 when she shows up in a dirt race.
It did not say that.
Right, you know, and I mean, that's the decisions that bettors have to make. I don't think the 3 is bettable at 2-1, even though I like the 3 here. Just nobody else is taking money.
But having said that, look, it offers opportunities, like with this horse right here, the 7. The 7-1 on the horse who probably has the best dirt race of anyone in the field.
Too big a price.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you. But it's Jimmy Ferraro and Louis Rivera, so there's nothing sexy to catch any money, right? There's no George Weaver off a big Saratoga. There's no Linda Rice and Kendrick Carmouche. And this is a case where people get overtly negative based on connections. And Jimmy Ferraro wins races, and he certainly wins races like this. So if you like the 7, you should have no problem betting those connections.
Here we go. Race 2, 6-furlong sprint, 2-year-old fillies in for this $35,000 maiden claiming tag. Chris Griffin with the call.
Piece of gold. Last to load, Stylish Gem. Eric Cancel to the outside. Goes forward. All set. And they're off. Very awkward beginning and just not being persisted with. Now getting the hang of it. Rouge Granger at the back end of the field. Spots him about 10. The leader is Big Helianora and Kendrick Carmouche. They emerge with the front and they're quickly up by a full length now. Chasing towards the outside, here comes Op Overlord as towards the outside here of in between horses. Now moving forward and progressing, that's going to be Stylish Gem, who secured second. Tightly at the rail is Grit and Glitter, rushing up 3 wide on the outside as they move into the turn is Piece of Gold. That's the front 5. Hustle along towards the back end. Mappy is second to last. And the trailer after the start is Rouge Granger. On the front end, Big Helianora, 23.20 for the opening quarter mile, is a neck in front of Stylish Gem, who's in full pursuit, is all in towards the outside. Grit and Glitter is tightly at the rail, is trying to catch this leader. Big Helianora sprints for home. Big Helianora is trying to open up this margin. Stylish Gem continues to give game chase, and they start to move in closer. Grit and Glitter is going to switch out to the 2-path and give game chase, but they're approaching a final 16th. Big Helianora, Grit and Glitter catching with every stride. It's still Big Helianora. Big Helianora holds on. Big Helianora over Grit and Glitter, Stylish Gem, and Op Overlord in 1 minute 12.28 seconds.
Big Helianora, Linda Rice dropping class. Kendrick Carmouche did stay on for a reason.
Yes, he did, and didn't break that sharply, maybe about a quarter to a half slow, but Kendrick sent her right to the front where she belonged, and she was able to hold up. What's amazing to me is that the 8 had so much more speed.
Yeah.
That the 8 was able to keep up, and I'm not saying it was a massive pace, but the fact that this horse wasn't close in slow paces on the turf, but she's just not really very good, dirt, turf, or wherever she runs. Santana on Grit and Glitter stayed in the inside, and I think it is worth noting that the best running was done inside, though. If you make a bias off a race like this, I think you're asking for trouble.
Yes. 3-1-8-5. So the big drop down in class, a win, and this one moving to a new barn. Taken.
You know, I think Linda's going to get over this.
I think she'll be fine.
I really think she's going to move on. I think she's probably thinking, I won the race and the horse got claimed. 2 wins.
Yeah.
Where do you go with this horse into the next start? If you claim this horse, you got to be hoping the horse loses, right? I mean, the common rule of thumb is when you break your maiden claimer, you run for half the price in an open race. I wish whoever claimed this horse the best of luck, and I'm sure Linda does as well.
3-1-8-5 finish, second choice on the board here at 2-1 with the victory in a formful beginning through the first couple of races, but we have very competitive card the rest of the way where things really can open up.
Yeah, I think there's some interesting races going forward, and you and I talked about them before the card began, and I think the latter part of the card, when unfortunately we'll be off the air, but you can catch all the action as always, and another reason you should be a member of Naira Bets, but there's some good stuff coming up.
Kendrick Carmouche, the win, another man who had a terrific summer at Saratoga and keeping things going early on here at the meet on opening day. Belmont of the Big A. Big Helianora, second choice for Linda Rice. Drops down in class, breaks her maiden in her second career start.
Eclipse champion Blame, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Welcome back. You're watching America's Day at the Races here on FS2. And we're proudly brought to you by Gainesway Farm. Power passion performance, as we saw a gate-to-wire winner here in race number 2, Big Eleonora. Kendra Carmouche, you were aboard her first time. Things didn't go that well in a tougher spot, but got to the lead today, and she got brave.
Yeah, last time it was a tough race. You know, Linda said she had to start the filly somewhere. So that was just a starting spot. And, you know, coming back down from over the bridges over there in Saratoga, it's a little bit easier on this side. So she put her in for the right price. I just had to get her to break out the gate and get to where she wanted to be. And, you know, she went around it where she was supposed to.
She did. She got brave, too. I thought a fast track probably helped her out. Last time it was a muddy one.
Yeah, I would say so. You know, first day of the meet back, you know, I'm sure they got it pretty tight out there from what I can see. But, you know, that always helps, Mag. You know, these different surfaces with these horses, the people got to realize that you know, it can benefit them today than better than last time, you know. And these some of the things that you got to pay attention to with these jockeys and horses in New York. And they should know whenever they're on the right surface to put them in the right spot, and you saw me do that today.
Excellent meet up at Saratoga, but how does it feel to be back here at the Big A? We saw you win your 4,000th race here on Wood Memorial Day, and boy, the fans, they love you.
Yeah, you know, I love Saratoga. You know, I think we all do. I think we separate ourselves from the world for 2.5 months, and then you got to snap back to reality once you get back across the bridge and kind of open your brain up, because you got to start thinking again about everything you need to do. And this is where, you know, they gave us 8 days off to recoup and let our bodies get back to normal. For us jockeys, you know, we needed that break for our bodies. And now we're back at the Big A, you know. I love the Big A, you know. It's fun, you know. I get to come back. I get to hear people scream like they were screaming this year in Saratoga, you know. But I love Aqueduct, you know. Long stretch. You got to be more patient around here. You got 2 big turf courses. That's some of the best turf courses in the world. And, you know, same thing there. You know, you got to know when to release on these turf courses, because the stretch is that much longer than Saratoga. So, you know, you got to make sure you're paying attention to that when you get back.
Well said. Looking forward to getting some more winners on today's card. Best of luck. Congrats.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Baby, we're back in the Big A. Come see us. But more and foremost, I'd like to thank all the fans in Saratoga and everybody around the world. I had a great meet. I think we all had a very great meet. We all made it out safe. I'd like to give my heart out to Lascano. I know he got hurt the last week. He's going through a lot right now, but first and foremost, I'd like to thank everybody that support our industry and want to see us get better in our industry, and I thank you all so much.
Thank you, Kendrick. Greg?
Oh, terrific for Kendrick Carmouche, what he accomplished this summer, including a couple of...
That's the first race, guys.
Yep. Grade 1 wins on Deterministic, Belmont at Saratoga week, as well as the 4-star Dave. Had a win on Laura Lynn for Graham Motion, who's undefeated. He just had a great summer meet.
And I'm glad he mentioned Jose Lascano,
Yes.
who broke his collarbone the last week of the meet when after the finish of a race. And we do wish Jose the best, and looking forward to him getting back. And I'm sure it's frustrating and difficult for him not to be here. Hopefully he's doing okay, and hopefully we see him back soon.
Yeah, one of our favorites. Yeah. True professional. Race 3, let's move on to the start of the Pick 6 coming up next. And we are going to have, I would think, pretty heavy favorite here. Collect the data. Chad Brown Barn was off for about 1.5 years, and what a whopping return to the races for this 4-year-old filly. Just dominant, best race she'd ever run in her career.
I mean, based on that effort, if that's the horse that she is, she's going to move up the stakes company against New York Reds. But you know, you and I, Greg, we talk about 1-number horses quite a bit. And when we say a 1-number horse, it's a horse that runs an aberrationally high number after a career of much shorter numbers. And to be fair, she'd only run 3 times. She was coming off a 1.5 year layoff. She may be a completely different horse, but I think the difference today for her, in a lot of ways it's probably good for the connections, is that she's not going to be in front unless the one doesn't get out of the gate. Because Majestic Return is one of the quickest horses on the grounds early. So she's not likely to be able to win today duplicating her running style from last time. She'll have to stalk. I'm not saying it's a tougher trip, but there's some horses, they get to the front end and they're really good, and they aren't able to get to the front end, and they just aren't necessarily as good. So I think we'll find out more about her. And she's got a horse in Army Gal who's got some questions to answer herself. But if the good Army gal shows up, she's a worthy opponent for Collect the Data. So I think it makes the race very interesting.
More on the third. Starts the Pick Six when we come back, 3 to 5 on Collect the Data. As we look ahead to the weekend when we return, Chad Brown, speaking of Athenia, a race that he has owned. Coming up over the weekend coverage, Whiskey Decision. He'll send out his graded stakes winner, and Flavien Prat will be aboard. We'll have a preview next.
A dynasty in motion, reshaping the sport's greatest tradition, channeling the legends of his line and surpassing them. 4 of the last 6 Derby winners carry his genes. A Golden Son, a Horse of the Year. Another chapter written beneath those iconic spires. Derby dreams fulfilled for the titans of our industry. From authentic to sovereignty, a legacy both real and supreme. Into mischief.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
The champion 2-year-old. One of 4 champion 2-year-olds in his immediate family. Essential quality at 2. Undefeated.
Essential quality, though, has opened up by 5.
Devastating. His own first 2-year-olds race in 2025. If they're anything like him and you've got a mare in foal, just imagine.
And it is technical analysis. Who has the lead? Technical analysis. Down on the inside is a But Cachet. Fluffy Socks is coming on now. And on the outside, it is Sparkle Blue with Favor. Technical analysis is still there. And technical analysis has done it in front-running fashion.
Technical analysis winning that 2023 Athenia. Last time we saw her.
Too good a horse to have never won a Grade 1. Her closest was a good second-place finish to In Italia in the Diana. And the horse she's beating, But Cachet, came back and won a Grade 1 to begin the year and the first lady next year at Keeneland. She was a very, very cool horse, technical analysis, who had some excellent races. Always a favorite of mine.
Chad Brown pretty much owned this race in his career. Look at what he has accomplished. Wow. And he's going to have a chance to keep that streak rolling.
So I'm wondering how many of these horses won the Matriarch. I know Off Limits did. I don't think Rimska did. I actually think Off Limits is the only one that did. Roca Roja the year before, that year actually got beaten in the nose by the very, very good Miss Temple City in the Matriarch.
Well, I'll have a chance to win a 6th in a row with Whiskey Decision, winner of the Grade 3 Eatontown at Monmouth to start off her 4-year-old campaign back in June.
My last Whiskey Decision with you, Greg, was breaking your phone.
True.
She slipped up a gold rail to win this race. That's what bothers me about her. And she was bad at the Boston Spa. You can cut it any way you want. She was bad. But she might be good enough to beat the field she's running against. You've got some very, very solid and informed New York breds coming in. The 1, 2, 3 finishers in the Yaddo at Saratoga last time out. I don't know what to make of her. I'm actually going towards a weirdo horse in this race, but I do think Whiskey Decision is dangerous. But I respect Spinning Colors and Awesome Check and Moon Edge Daydream as well.
Those are the top 3 finishers coming out of the Yaddo, and we're going to take a look at that race back on August 22nd. Awesome Check would win it. Second time blinkers on for Horacio De Paz in this victory.
The problem that I have is that the rail was an advantage on the turf course at this time. And every single one of the first three finishers spent the majority of the race on the rail. The leader who finished third was on the rail the whole way. The second place finisher was on the rail until she slipped out top of the stretch. The winner on the rail until she slipped out top of the stretch. So they all enjoyed extremely juicy trips in there, which makes me kind of wonder, how they'll do on a more fair turf course. And it seems like we probably have one. The rails are out 9 and 12 feet on the turf courses. So I'll be interested to see what happens. That's why Whiskey Decision, who has the experience, it's open company. But Whiskey Decision's race in the Boston Spa worries me a little bit. I think this is a funny race.
Race 4 on Sunday. We'll see if Chad Brown's domination continues in that one coming up. We're going to get to race 3 on our opening day coverage here coming up, and 2 to 5 now.
Ooh.
On this one, you're about to see right here. Manny Franco riding for Chad Brown and Klarovich Stables, and just a huge comeback effort off about a year and a half away. And as you mentioned, did that on the lead. Can she win without the front end? Let's go to Maggie for more.
Yeah, we'll see if she can today. And the two top choices in this race are two fillies that I have actually never seen in the paddock before a race. So I don't have any notes on them to compare things to. But as Collect the Data comes back second off the bench after that huge blowout win, boy, I do like what I see here. She's a beautiful filly. She has some height to her, kind of tall, leggy, fairly, I don't want to say nervous, but definitely high energy, high strung here in the paddock. Has gotten a touch warm, more so than many of her fellow competitors here. So we'll keep an eye on how she behaves once she gets out on track. But physically, she is beautiful and definitely looks incredibly fit second off the bench. Moving on to one that comes off of a disappointing run in her last start, going a mile on the outside, number 7, Army Gal. And haven't seen her in the paddock. She is a lot more quiet than maybe a possible speed type you would assume would be. She has a good coat on her overall, looks pretty fit here in the paddock, but again, I just wish there was more energy. She's very quiet, very kind of dull acting overall. So we'll see. I do like the turn back after she could not sustain any sort of bid going a mile last time out. She is built more like a sprinter too, and obviously her sprinting races are far better than anything longer than that. Moving on to her inside, little love for number 6, Gone and Forgotten, as she makes her 12th start here of 2025 for the 7-year-old 14-time winner. She just maintains this, really great conditioning despite having quite a heavy workload, running a lot of times. It seems like she's one that does thrive on running quite frequently. And 2, she does benefit from any sort of kind of hitting that they do up front. Not that she is, a closer from well off of it. She definitely has some tactical speed, but if they kind of go out and blitz on the front end, she'll be the one to pick up the pieces. But again, throughout this year and even the year before, she looks great here yet again at the Big A. Craig?
Thank you, Maggie. 8 minutes from this third race. Again, starts the Pick 6. You see the pool size there, lower right-hand side of your screen, 1 to 4. Public believing what we saw in that return race, July 24th. It is onwards and upwards from there for Collect the Data.
Well, this one is definitely a miss the wedding because she was 8 to 1 this day and won like she was 1 to 4. Listen, I understand why she was 8 to 1. She had never really lifted a hoof, and she was off a 1.5 year layoff, and she was a totally different horse. She had significantly more speed than she had ever shown before, and obviously she had never run this kind of dominating race. Having said that, go ahead, Greg.
She was dropped in for State Bred Maiden 40. That's how bad it was going for her before she went to the bench.
No, I agree with you. I don't, I thought there was a bad favorite in the race, so I think I ended up backing into winning a little bit of money in the exacta, but I agree. I was surprised she ran the race she ran, I'll tell you that.
Majestic return. She is quick. She has the inside post with Ricardo Santana Jr.
Yeah, she is the speed. If you want, they're 18 to 1 for a new barn. She's run good races, but it's been a while.
Sohana has been off since late May.
She's a tough read, right? Because she was improving last year like she could be okay, and then her 2 races this year have been terrible for a barn that's done great work in New York. I think the assistant trainer in New York does the best job of anybody with these Brad Cox horses. But even if she can get back to her better races, is she good enough?
Here's the huge favorite. Collect the data. Is she the filly we saw back on July 24th?
No, we'll find out in about 10 minutes.
Manny Franco back aboard. Here's Jackson's Dixie, an 8-time winner.
Yeah, I mean, she actually has some back race to give her a chance to get a piece. She's also off the claim, but hasn't run in 2.5 months.
Gone and Forgotten, 12-1, 14-time winner, almost $500,000 in earnings.
Good performances lately against lesser, but a big price if you want to use her, and I know you like her a little more than I do.
And this price is way too good because of the over betting on the 4 Collect the Data Army Gal.
Yeah, at 6-1, I'd make a big bet on Army Gal, and here I think she'll probably be about 5-2 or 3-1 by post time. I think it's going to mitigate the crazy money right now in the favorite. I almost wonder if somebody made a big bet in the favorite, and I'll have to look. She's better with less distance, so that helps her. Things obviously went wrong last time. She's been given some time. If she can run back to her races 2, 3, and 5 back, she's a major threat to the favorite.
And the second start of her career, she ran a figure on par with what Collect the Data just ran, that one-off number coming back off the bench. So she has ability. She showed it earlier in her career. We'll see if she can get back to it, and maybe has grown up a little bit now as a 3-year-old filly who is maturing and getting a little bit bigger and stronger now. Play all the action with Naira Bets. That's the promo code to use at sign up. Match 200. Get that $200 deposit match, new customer bonus right there at NairaBets.com. And you can, of course, play the Pick 6 that starts at this race coming up. 5-1. That price already starting to come down as we expected. On the outside runner, Army Gal, Dylan Davis riding for Lena Rice.
Yeah, keep in mind, they're going to probably pretty much bet this like it's a 2-horse affair. Though, interestingly enough, the 4 just went up to 2-5, and the 7 went up 6-1, and somebody's betting on the 2. I guess anything's possible. This is her race 2-3 back when she was second to Nilo's Rose. And you could say she hung a little bit. Nilo's Rose kind of had the benefit of the track and got a pretty moderate pace to do it in there. So I still thought it was an effort that makes her dangerous in here. Listen, I don't think she's beating Collect the Data if Collect the Data is the horse, truly is the horse we saw last time. But I think you have to be very, very careful as a horse player to take a short price on a horse based on one number. I mean, you and I talk about this all the time.
Yeah.
Even though in this case it's a horse of a long layoff, maybe she's just a completely different horse than she was before that. But the difference to me also is you're now going to have to overcome a different scenario because she's going to have to stalk Majestic Return. Now, a lot of horses are very comfortable stalking, and it's easy for them to do it. Some prefer it. But I do think it's important to note that the big race she ran was loose on the lead, and it doesn't rate to happen in today's race.
Meanwhile, Maggie going to Sohana for the Brad Cox barn. We're going to let her explain herself.
Oh, the pressure. So price too short on Collect the Data, and I wasn't overly enthralled with what I saw from Army Gal. So I'm going to land on Sohana, and I think Andy brought up some fabulous points when referencing Dustin Dugas, the assistant for Brad Cox here in New York, at Belmont, I should say. And he's had all summer off of 2 bad efforts after a 9-month layoff in between those 2, and they were terrible. So maybe she's just not the same horse. Maybe also she needs a lead, and that's not going to happen here. So there's 2 negatives, but I think she looks sensational. And the fact that Dustin's had her all summer kind of tinkering away, has been working consistently. I like her work tab coming in here, and it looks as though she's grown, she's gotten bigger, she's gotten taller and longer, things you'd like to see a filly do at the tail end of her 4-year-old campaign. She looks incredibly fit here. I like the warm-up that Flavien Prat has given her. And like I said, I can see Collect the Data winning here, so I just figured I'd take a little bit of a shot with a better price. Greg?
There she is. Thank you, Maggie. Brad Cox barn going to Pratt. So, yeah, 9-1 as it's being bet as we expected as a 2-horse race.
Yeah, I mean, actually, the argument for the 2 is that she's the 3rd likeliest winner in here. The problem with her is, okay, let's say her last 2 races are aberrations and she's back to being a better horse. She still doesn't have races from a speed figure standpoint that are competitive with the 7 if she runs one of her good races, or the 4 if she runs her last race. So you're hoping not only can she, and listen, 8 to 1's a fine price. I don't particularly like her, but I can understand the logic. The problem is you're hoping that she's improved dramatically. Not only can you put the 2 races as a 4-year-old behind her, but she's improved dramatically off her 3-year-old form with nothing to say that that's correct, and based on the races, and then you're hoping that both the 4 and 7 don't run to their good races. Now, that could happen, but that's why she's 8 to 1. If you think 8 to 1 is a fair price to take on that, then you should bet her. But everything is a personal decision. Every decision is...
It's a bit of a guessing game, but it's there. So you can excuse the race coming off the long time away in April, and then she went to the bench in her last start.
And she got a wet track. The problem, okay, she stumbled at the start. I don't recall that stumble being that bad by Sohana. And, like, last time out, I don't know.
But still, we haven't seen her. There's reasons where you could
third.
She could be a totally different filly.
But she's still got to improve off those races as a 3-year-old. That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's my problem. If she was a horse that was running, buyer figures in the mid to high 70s to 80 as a 3-year-old, I could understand it a little bit. But she's going to have to improve in that form. Now, maybe she will, and maybe she'll win. And like I said, I picked her 3rd, and I don't think 8 to 1's a terrible price to take on her. But you're asking for a lot. And every question for every bettor, and that's why, there is this notion that we're supposed to be up here picking winners. And what Maggie's doing is saying, no, I'm trying to pick a horse that I think the odds are commensurate with the horse's chances of winning. I don't think, if you said to Maggie, and I don't want to speak for her, who do you think is the most likely winner? It doesn't matter, we'll bet $100, she'd pick the 4 probably, just as you would and I would. But that's not what we're doing, we're betting, we're trying to make money, and that's the case. They're probably just tightening the girth, but we'll find out.
That is Christopher Elliott, Gone and Forgotten. And, this one is coming out and will be a scratch.
I haven't forgotten her yet, but she is.
So 16 to 1 shot comes off the board. And down to a field of 6. Let's go back to Maggie.
Yeah, as good as Gone Forgotten looked in the paddock, she did not look as good out on the racetrack, and rightfully will be a late scratch here. But going back to what Andy said, that's exactly what I meant when picking Sohana here, is that, yes, of course, I think the 4 is the likeliest winner. But because I am not thrilled with the second choice in her appearance, and I totally get why she can win as well, there were so many positives, at least based on my perspective and my analysis of these horses physically. There were a lot more positives when it came to Sohana, so that's why I landed on her, guys.
Now we have another big scratch. Wow, the 4 comes. Is that correct? No, that's incorrect.
No, that's not correct.
So ignore that. Had the 4 coming off the board. That is incorrect.
She's back down to 1 to 5, and the 7 is 7 to 2. I'm surprised. Truly surprised.
So, look, there's a couple things going. Obviously, 1 to 5 is way too short.
Well, they're betting her a little bit. What it says to me, and Maggie said wasn't overly enthusiastic about how she thought the 7 looked. And it feels like that's part of the betting. And it's Maggie, but I remember we'd have races here sometimes in the winter, back in the days before we had the show, where there'd be only 2 horses could kind of win, and they sort of looked even. Yet one of them would go for 2 to 5, and one would go for 3 to 1, and the 2 to 5 always won. And it was almost like maybe somebody's looking on the track and they're thinking, I don't like the way one of them looks, I like the way the other one looks, and maybe that has something to do with it.
There's the big favorite stepping in. Pick 6 starts here. Collect the data. Chad Brown, Barn, Klarovich Stables, Manny Franco, 1 to 5. Let's go to Chris Griffin for the call.
The outside. Army Gal moves forward. Backs away. Now in. All set. And they're off. Right after the start was Sohana is going to be the early trailer as Majestic Return now rushes up towards the inside. A pace duel emerges on the front end, and Collect the Data has got to handle Jackson's Dixie right to the outside, and those two hook up early within a neck apart, and towards the outside is Army Gal tracking them in third. Majestic Return is at the rail, is progressing, is now right up on heels, is now taking the third spot. They went 22.58 for that pressured opening quarter mile as they work into the far turn. Tightly packed up front. The lone trailer is Sohana. The leader, the big favorite, didn't Collect the Data. Right there is Jackson's Dixie, and Army Gal is trying to range up on the outside 3 wide. Still tightly at the rail. Majestic Return, nowhere to go, is right there, is in the 4th position as Collect the Data is trying to put this one away. 46 seconds flat for a half-mile time, and the pressure continues on the big favorite who turns for home. And taking the lead was Jackson's Dixie, battling on in between horses. Army Gal is out in the center of the racetrack as Collect the Data is finding more. Collect the Data is game and all heart towards the inside, but now gets passed by Army Gal. Army Gal is trying to sprint away. Inside the final 16th is up by a length. Give it to Army Gal. Dylan Davis, they get the victory. Collect the Data. They're second, and Jackson's Dixie in 1 minute 16.02 seconds.
Army Gal off the bench. Linda Rice, Dylan Davis, 3-year-old filly, improving late in the season here.
I'm not sure Collect the Data didn't run a good race, to be honest. I mean, this was a pretty quick race. I just think the winner ran better. The winner showed that she needed some time off, and she's able to beat her. It's not like the winner didn't have good races coming back, and they easily beat the others. It kind of helped the favorite that the 1 got completely left, but the 5 put a little pressure on her, but Army Gal just stalked behind them and was able to get it done. Best Horse won this race, but I don't think that the favorite ran that badly. I just think the winner ran better.
We talked about it going in. It was way too big a disparity between these
Crazy. To me, it's crazy that there was that big a disparity in their odds. People, you and I think you and I spend more time in this show, because we spend a lot of time together, especially during the course of the year, talking about 1-number horses. And you're just supposed, there's a 1-number horse over the weekend, a Dutro horse that went to Monmouth. I can't remember if it's Saturday or Sunday, that'll come up. You've got to be leery of 1-number horses at super short prices.
Army Gal, first start back since early July. Linda Rice Barn, victorious here, now 3 for 7.
I think.
And 3-1 beats a 1-4 favorite.
And I look forward to Sohana becoming a mommy, because she just, I don't think she wants to race anymore. It's just one of those things.
7-4, 5-1. This will certainly plays a big upset. Many singled in the pick 6 to start this thing off with Collect the Data. It's Army Gal to take race 3.
He's a running son of a gun.
Papa Cap now has the advantage.
A graded stakes winning 2-year-old. Grade 1 Breeders' Cup Juvenile runner-up at 2. Multiple Grade 1 placings at 3. Finished in the top 4 in 11 out of 12 starts.
And from here on in, it's just a matter of how far. Papa Cap, an easy winner of the best pal.
Papa Cap, standing at Walmack.
Back with you on America's Day of the Races, opening day of this Belmont at the Big A meet, brought to you in part by America's Best Racing, making the sport easier to follow. Explore story, betting tips, and race day insights at americasbestracing.net. Army Gal with the upset win. Dylan Davis aboard for Linda Rice to kick off the first pick 6 of the meet. Our winner circle lead-in brought to you by the Phasing Tipton November sale, world's premier breeding stock event. Nominate your star today.
And after 3 races, Linda Rice leads Chad Brown 2-1.
How about that?
I think it's over. She's basically doubling him.
Yeah, good luck. $8.82.
What are you saying?
For the win. That breakage made its debut late in the meet at Saratoga. Let's go to Maggie.
And Linda's not here, but that's okay. I get to catch up with Dylan Davis. As Dylan, you were perched 3 wide and ready to pounce. Army Gal, she was all in for you.
Yeah, it was great. Great setup here. Thank you to Linda for giving me the ride, and she had her ready today. Perfect trip. I love the outside post with this position and able to see what we had inside of us. I saw it. Kendrick was doing a little bit of the dirty work for me, but I thought I would have to press the pace with the full horse, but he was there, so I just minded my own business sitting 3, and she was loving every part of it. She just on the bridle and wanted to be in contention, but in the right way, and she responded nicely down the stretch and didn't really have to do too much riding, but she was, I kept her coaxed all the way through the wire, but she was much best here.
And you were just telling me, we're flashing news alert here, that you're actually going to stay as of now through the winter here at the Big A.
I am, yeah. Me and my agent Mike, we decided that we're going to stay back here at Aqueduct this winter and future winters with Belmont coming. But I think it's in our best interest to stay. Love the New York business, and I've had a lot of success here. So, I gave it a chance to go to Gulfstream, and I did well. I had a great meet, 40 winners, but I think this is home for me, and I want to keep on continuing and building my career. But I think it's the right decision for me to stay.
And let's face it, you're born upstate, you're raised upstate. Cold doesn't bother you.
Yeah, New York, right here, born and raised for sure. Love it, love it. The cold comes, but it doesn't bother me. But I had a lot of success leading ride a few times. So actually, Naira leading rider twice. So let's keep it going. Let's go for 26.
I was gonna say, if only the riders got the New York bred bonus as well.
Yeah, I had Maddie beat me by like maybe a couple. That was it. But I was like, hey, what about that? I beat him, but no. New York bred's ridden. He beat me, but yeah, no, it's a lot of fun out here. So it's nice and competitive, and I love it out here. So it's a lot of fun.
We're happy to have you. Congrats here with the win with Army Gal.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Dylan Davis, keeping it cool, I should say, Greg, as he'll stay the winter here at Aqueduct.
Well, we benefit from that. Great to have one of the premier riders stay here through the winter. Of course, went to Gulfstream. Mark Cassey enticed him to come to South Florida last year, but good to have him sticking around.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you can't make a decision without trying, and he tried to go down there, and I'm not saying it worked badly. I think he did okay down there, but I think he's making the best decision for himself, and we're going to have one heck of a riding colony here this winter, which is a good thing.
Yes, we are. Good to have him sticking around. Army Gal with the win. Linda Rice, Ron Stewart, Dylan Davis. We move on. Our Spendthrift Farm 2-year-old race of the day, brought to you by Spendthrift's 6-time reigning champion General Siren to Mischief, sire of this year's Kentucky Derby, Belmont Stakes and Travers winner, Sovereignty, mile and a 16th on the grass. New York bred maiden special weight, where should anyone be the shorter price in this race?
No. So 2 for the price of 1. They must be paying the 1A, right? I don't think the 1 could be even money in here. They must be paying the 1A.
I think it's just 2 for the price of 1, isn't it? I mean, I don't know.
I know I'm alive with the 5 and 6 and the pick 3s, and they're barely paying more than the doubles are paying. And the first winner paid almost $7. So there's no value in the pick 3, which makes me unhappy I got involved.
I'll talk deeper dive of this field coming up in just a bit. Every so often, sports reminds us of its power, not to just entertain, but to unite, to comfort, and in some cases to heal. The Breeders' Cup Classic became one of those rare moments in sports 24 years ago, less than 2 months after that unimaginable tragedy of 9/11. Racing delivered a stretch duel for the ages, brought to life by the unforgettable call of Tom Durkin.
That morning I was in my living room having a cup of coffee, and my buddy Richie Rosenblatt called me up on the phone and said, turn on the TV, and he hung up the phone. I went, okay, and that was that.
We came up here to the roof, which is only about 12 miles from the World Trade Center, watching all the smoke billowing and all the horror that was going on, and we knew that our lives had been forever changed.
Well, he had run in the Woodward Stakes 3 days prior to 9/11, and Sandy and I were there and flew back from New York 2 days before 9/11 on 9/9. And then nobody could fly, of course, after 9/11 for some time. So he remained at Belmont Park in Shug McGay's barn. He also had his exercise boy and groom with him. And they stayed, I think, about 11 or 12 more days before they could fly out of New Jersey and come back to California.
The racetrack's always been my sanctuary. It just, particularly those first few days, it was really hard to feel like this was important, what we were doing.
Getting back to work certainly was a distraction, but the fright of what happened came rushing back when I arrived in New York.
I went upstairs and went into the booth, and I looked out to the infield, which I had looked out over from my perch up there 1,000 times. And I looked at the tote board, and I thought something was different. And then I picked up my glasses, and I looked over, and there was a sniper's nest in the tote board.
Right before the races began on Breeders' Cup Day, track management asked all the jockeys to put their colors on, and we were all given an FDNY hat or NYPD hat.
Everybody understood the magnitude of that, and that we were all in solidarity about what happened. No matter where you were from, we're on the same page, and everybody had that same feeling that we were gonna show the world that we were gonna put on the best show possible and keep racing at the forefront.
Ready for the start of the Classic, and they're off!
I asked him to run coming out of the gate because we were stuck out in the 10-hole, and all the way down the backstretch he was traveling very comfortably. And then I heard a horse coming to my outside, and I saw the blue Godolphin colors.
Here comes the ARC winner, Saki, and he storms to the lead. Saki a narrow lead, and Tisnow is battling on. The American Horse of the Year and the ARC winner are heads apart with a furlong to go in the Classic.
At the 16th pole, I decided, well, I'll give him one tap to see if he'll respond favorably from that, and he did.
On the outside, Saki, Tisnow fights on. Here's the wire, desperately close. Tisnow wins it for America!
You could say, I suppose, that it was a jingoistic thing to say, but it was the story. It was the story.
I felt like racing won that day. It was a celebration of our sport in the face of unspeakable terror.
It was a realization of a dream again that year, to have him win it twice in a row. And he really deserved it.
I was just flooded with emotions, mostly elation, and very, very proud that Tisnow would show up on a most important day in the history of our country, not just the history of our racing industry.
Only horse in history to go back-to-back at the Breeders' Cup Classic and really help. It's amazing what sports has the power to do.
Yeah, I mean, I could say a lot about, first of all, with Tisnow, I think he's one of those underappreciated horses. And I think that's one of the reasons I sometimes get a little upset when people are heaping these accolades on Sovereignty, who's a very, very good horse. And who knows, if he races next year, he may actually have a chance to go down as one of the better horses we've seen. But it wasn't as good as Tisnow's 3-year-old race when he beat Giant's Causeway. And I think we don't want to dismiss good horses like Tisnow. And that was a great race. And I like what Tom said, because you could agree it was a jingoistic thing that he said. But he was right. You know, he did win it for America. So I think Tom had that incredible ability to see a situation for what it was and put it into words in a very fast way. And that was, listen, that was a very strange time. You know, I was at the foot of the second tower when the plane hit it. So I was there. And it was a strange time. And I didn't go down I was working on the American Stock Exchange at the time. We could go down to the Philadelphia Exchange and trade. I went to Belmont when they reopened the next week and actually went there until we were able to open up the Amex again. But New York was a strange place back then. There was also a time that the city really came together, too.
Yeah. Lost over 3,000 lives, and many more lives actually lost from first responders who helped in the aftermath because of health issues related to all the toxins in the air.
It's hard to talk about it without getting upset and thinking about it, thinking about, you know, the firemen that went into the buildings while this was going on, to think how what they sacrificed. And as you say, many of them died, unfortunately, that day, but many of them, you know, suffered, whether they died or they had diseases as a result of it. It's a huge amount of casualties for a terrible event, certainly the most cataclysmic event of our lifetimes in America, and for it to happen where it did. And I mean, the Breeders' Cup was a weird experience. Tom talks about the crow's nest. I can remember walking in and seeing everybody with their guns. It was strange, but it also was a bit of a return to normalcy as well.
We're going to get back to our live action coming up with our Spendthrift Farm 2-year-old race of the day in this entry. Even money when the odds first clicked. Still 7-5
Oregon at
favoritism.
7-5 now, Greg. Come on.
Yeah, Nashika has a sprint start under the belt, the 1A is a first-time starter. It's George Weaver, Flavien Prat. Why all this money on the entry as we go to Maggie?
I think they've been working quite well heading into their respective starts here, and plus people love an entry, or I guess maybe there's the 2-for-1 deal. As we'll take a look here at the one who has experienced, Nashika, as she made her debut back here in June on the final day of racing for that spring-summer meet, Belmont at the Big A. And I'd written in my notes that she looked like a horse that wanted to go longer. Well, she gets it here. This is the right spot for her. She's just very long, kind of sinewy, doesn't really look like a sprinter, doesn't have that massive engine, nor is she built downhill. She's just one that has the frame that lends itself well to going longer. But coming in here, her work 2-back, which you can still watch on First TV, she was actually on the inside of a 4-year-old winner, Upon a Star, whom 3 Diamonds had purchased, I think out of a digital sale. And Nashika never let her by. And first time out, she was wired by a horse who had experience and not show problem. Now, in the interim, you know, at the time, the 2 months plus months that we've been at Saratoga, I wish she'd filled out a bit more. She's still kind of the same filly that I saw back in June. But again, I think she does make a good deal of sense as her entry mate in here, Make a Little Love, as you heard me talking to Flavien Prat before. He was aboard for the August 8th work, and she was on the outside of, granted, an unraced 2-year-old, but she has this big bounding stride when you watch the work, and she blew by without Flavien asking for anything. And then she really kicked on well in the gallop out too. Now, looking at her here in the paddock, she's a big burly filly, you know, a lot of her, a lot of substance. So that makes me feel as though she might need to start. She's about 90% fit, but I appreciate the physical maturity that she's showing, and plus the workouts coming in here. Now there's a horse with a pretty interesting pedigree in the middle of the field. That's number 6, Considerate City. She is a full sister to Sanctuary City, who went 5 for 24 on the turf, amassing nearly $500,000 for these same connections. And she is one that literally looks like the female version of Sanctuary City. A little bit smaller, a little more effeminate, but still the same kind of physical frame overall, well spotted in this first start going this distance on the turf. Now, does she probably need to start? Possibly. These aren't necessarily connections that win with first-time starters, and she might need it mentally and physically. She is wearing blinkers first time out here, but I'm excited to see what she can do. And I watched her last breeze coming in here on September 1st. She was outside of an unraced mate. She did have those blinkers on in the work. She went clear instantly as they approached the wire. At blink of an eye, she was well clear of that obviously overmatched mate. But I think there's some ability in here, Greg. We'll see if we see it first time out.
All right, Maggie, thank you. We'll have the post parade coming up, 7 minutes away from a race that's going to kick off the first late pick 5 of the meet. Coming up this weekend, $1 million Yonkers International Trot, brought to you by MGM. Last year, of course, won by Jiggy Jog S.
Of course.
representing Sweden. Dexter Dunn for Aki's Fonstedt. This time around, Periculum, morning line favorite, and we'll have coverage that begins 3:01 Eastern on Saturday.
You pronounced about 5 words in there that I would have mispronounced, so congratulations to you. And of course, people that don't know the international trot, I mean, Sweden has played a huge role in this over the years. You know, I was watching it back in the old days when some of our viewers remember when Spencer Ross and the great Stan Bergstein used to cover the races on Saturday nights. I think one night during the week as well from Yonkers. Loved those shows. Watched those shows Thursday, and Saturday all the time, and they were sensational. And I've seen a lot of international trots from Yonkers over time.
Huge purse. You'll see it Saturday, 3:01 Eastern on our Saturday coverage. Let's kick off our late pick 5, excuse me, with the entry in there. Here is Nashika. Mike, make her the one with experience.
Based on the last week at Saratoga, we're running a half a card today. In case you're interested, I think this is the one they're betting, Greg.
Make a little love outside post debuts, George Weaver.
I gotta think. I guess I could call my man Kirk Wyckoff and find out, but the money's showing. Who might argue against a George Weaver 2-year-old getting bet on the turf?
Miami style, the rail with Kendrick Carmouche.
Sprinter stretching out. You have more confidence in these than I do. Not that you like this one.
Flying Phoebe, 47-1.
Well, she'll have to be a completely different horse stretching out in her second start.
Did not show much, was not bet much first time out. Yes, sprinting 5.5. My Boston Beauty, 2 sprints, goes long now for Gary Contessa.
I just wish she had done some running in either one of those races to like her here.
And both those first 2 starts didn't get out great. Kara's Dream Chaser gets on turf for the first time.
Yeah, I picked her in here. She's got plenty of turf pedigree, and I like Blame for going long, so I'm in.
This one with a pedigree. Again, Dam produced Sanctuary City, won nearly $500,000 on the grass.
Full to Sanctuary City, as Maggie said. Dr. Messina and Buck Butler owned that one. I love Sanctuary City. I hope this one can run.
My Divine One, blinkers on, was a distant second on the turf at a mile and 16.
I don't know what's crazier, this horse at 3-2 or the entry at 8-5. I mean, she was second by default, and I agree with you. The one that was scratched may have run the better race of the two of them. Not that she's impossible.
12-1, Hannah's Hideaway. Start number 2 goes long for Lisa Barkowski.
I thought you made some good points about this horse to me earlier today, Greg, suggesting I agree with you. Lisa, who's taken over due to the unfortunate situation involving Phil Serpe, Lisa's taken over and done, not surprisingly, an excellent job. I wonder if I'm Lisa and I'm telling Gomez, go to the front, get to the lead here, and take your chances.
5.5 furlongs first out, now to a mile and a 16th, start number 2. $40 Friday feeder contest. Low-cost way to earn your entry into the $300 Saturday contest. Registration closes before Belmont at the Big A's 3rd race, post-time Friday. Go to NYRABets.com/contests to get involved. Good luck to everybody participating. Yes, 7-5. We both don't see it with My Divine One, who certainly could move forward. Got on the turf for the first time, career start number 2. Was a very distant second to one named She's Country, and now we'll add blinkers for Belmont.
Yeah, I mean, listen, these are young horses. They can improve, but I think the thing that people have to remember about these races is they're filled with unknowns. And this horse's turf debut was marginal at best. Could not have gotten a better ride by Junior. Saved ground the entire way before angling out in the stretch. Now, the winner was a George Weaver, heavily bet horse, which she's facing again here with the 1A. But she lost by 6 lengths. A lot of times in turf races, you run 7th when you lose by 6 lengths. I think she was second because nobody else did any running, and she couldn't have gotten a better trip from Junior. Now, Junior's aboard again, and he's riding very well, but the likelihood she gets as good a trip as she got last time is slim. I don't care what is. Saved every inch of ground. Everything went right for her. She can win here. It's Belmont. She could improve a little bit, but man, you've got the 6 with a lot of pedigree, the 5, who I'm interested in with plenty of pedigree. I think there's way too much going on in this race to just sort of land on a horse like this at 8-5.
Well, speaking of the 5, there's Dylan Davis. Kara's Dream Chaser will get on the turf for the first time. You've gone with a 5. And the first 2 tries, they both were on dirt, wet tracks.
But did try to enter in the turf for the second time. The Dam was 1 for 21. People will remember her. She was kind of a neat horse that didn't win very often. She's a neat horse. And she's produced 2 winners from 6 to try it. The 2 that won had solid turf, stallions. There's an English Channel, and there's the Factor. This one is Blame, and Blame is very proficient and arch as a turf stallion. So there is turf pedigree from the sire side, and I think this could be a very interesting horse getting the turf for the first time.
6-1. Turf debut, going long for the first time, Kara's Dream Chaser. Let's go back to Maggie.
She definitely wants all of that. She wants the turf. She wants long. She is a tall drink of water. A lot of leg to her, a lot of scope as well. So I think that Kara's Dream Chaser really does land in an opportune spot for her to show what she might be capable of. And I agree with you guys when it comes to number 8 in here. You know, I'm the biggest Belmont fan, but my Divine One, she'll win without me as well. But I'm going to go to number 9, Hannah's Hideaway, who kind of piqued my interest first time out. She just didn't necessarily seem, especially mentally, ready to fire her best shot at first asking. And I thought she got a fairly good education that day by Jose Lescano, in which she didn't break that quickly, so she was towards the rear early, and then she kind of started running around the turn, kind of in and out and amongst horses, and just got a bit tired after going fairly wide. And she's much fitter. She was much better behaved, much more focused when saddling her and preparing her to go out to the track today. And she comes from that wonderful family that included Goodbye Broccoli, but also Lady Joan, several others. That it's all coming together, and they're all runners. Now, can there sometimes be in those all runner families one that isn't that capable? Sure, but I think she ran well enough, showed some ability, needed one mentally to put it all together. I'm hoping that she can deliver here today, and she is a generous 12-1 on the board, guys. So we'll see. This is a fascinating race, and boy, doesn't the turf course look amazing here at the Big A?
Few months off in the summer works wonders to
Yes,
get the
it
course.
does.
I agree, and you know, building that outer turf course, and you know, Glenn Kozak was showing me some pictures this summer in Saratoga. They've laid down the turf, the sod on the inner turf course at Belmont, and they're going to be doing, I believe, this fall the outer turf course. And boy, they're looking great over there. And you know, those courses are really going to be state of the art with terrific irrigation and, you know, being able to keep races, you know, obviously take more rain and stuff. And it's an exciting time, you know, a year away from getting back to Belmont. And I agree about the turf course here, particularly that outer that Glenn laid down. Guy's a magician.
Here we go.
6 to 5.
Pick 5, 6-5 on My Divine One.
Shows how much they appreciate what Maggie and I said. Surprised we didn't drive her down to 4 to 5.
Too many variables to take that short a price on someone here, isn't it?
I mean, I just think I'd rather take a shorter price on the 1A, a first-time starter. Because for me, the 8's going to win when this is a totally blah race. And maybe it will be, but I don't know. I didn't like the 8's last race. I didn't think she did any real running.
Here's My Boston Beauty stepping into sprint, stretching out, several stretching out.
A lot of
this
unknowns.
2-year-old filly race, our Spendthrift Farm 2-year-old race of the day to start the late pick 5 on the first day of the meet. Let's go to Chris Griffin for the call.
Chaser. Hannah's Hideaway. Make a Little Love. Last to low to the outside. Goes in. All set. And they're off. Ask for speed towards the inside will be Flying Phoebe. Now takes back. As emerging with the front will be Kara's Dream Chaser at the rail. From the outside, now crossing over is Make a Little Love, and Neshika emerges in between horses, now sprints and gets over to the rail, is going to be the clear leader. Leading the entry mate right there in second is Make a Little Love, and Neshika, they're 1-2. Kara's Dream Chaser tightly at the rail, took off that early tempo, is right there in third. Towards the outside of them is now in the 3 path, that's Hannah's Hideaway, and not to the inside of that rival moving forward, that comes Considerate City. Watching the action is My Divine One, is now going to be mid-pack. A little tough to handle is Neshika on the front end for Santana as they work to the backstretch. To the back end of the field, it's Flying Phoebe, just got passed by My Boston Beauty and the Triller, Miami Style, 22.94 for the posted opening quarter. Neshika, now a little more comfortable, is up by 2. Make a Little Love, watching the action here from second to the outside of Kara's Dream Chaser, who's now chased along at the rail towards the inside in third. Hannah's Hideaway, patiently ridden in 4th. Nowhere to go yet for Considerate City, and Manny Franco there in 5th. Patient towards the outside. Here comes a run from My Divine One and Junior Alvarado. They're 3 wide and they're on the move. They're now passing rivals towards the outside, about to take 4th. The leader is Neshika. Neshika is still there. Make a Little Love is trying to catch this leader. Kara's Dream Chaser, but Neshika is still well clear. From the back of the pack, Miami Style is starting to get momentum up on the far outside. Also looking for room is Considerate City. Kara's Dream Chaser now has sights set on the lead as Neshika's trying to hold on, but Kara's Dream Chaser and Dylan Davis, they've now sprinted to the front. They're up by 2, 3 widening lengths. Kara's Dream Chaser with a nice score. Considerate City up for second. Neshika, then came Miami Style in 1 minute 44.21 seconds.
Kara's Dream Chaser, first time on the lawn, running down the entry.
Could not have gotten a better ride and trip from Dylan Davis, saving ground, getting in the pocket. And you could see she was taking the grass the whole way. The one who blew the turn the first time ran well to be second. The 8 out of wider trip today, she was not surprisingly no factor. And even the 6 that we talked about, Considerate City, she was able to get up for second in this race with that huge pedigree. And we talked about it beforehand, Greg. 6 to 5 and the 8 was ludicrous. Everybody here agreed with that. The entry, who knows who they were really betting in here. This horse, 5 to 1, pedigree, moving out. Nice win for Mitch Friedman. Nice ride by Dylan Davis, and thanks to Manny for getting up for second.
5 to 1 over 14 to 1. 5-6-1-2 finish in here. Miami Style 19 to 1 to round out the superfecta.
Yeah.
And here comes your winner into the picture, Dylan Davis, back to back.
Yeah, no, this horse, I mean, truthfully, this horse looked good the entire way around the track. And as soon as Dylan was able to sort of get her on the outside, she just motored on by. A nice win. And this horse ran okay in here to get this done.
So an upset to start this late pick 5 after a huge upset to start the pick 6 with a 1-4 defeated.
Yeah, no, right now this pick 6, well, I think logical alternative horses, what?
Five, 6, 1, 2, 5 to 1. Kara's Dream Chaser. Mitchell Friedman, Dylan Davis with the victory here in the 4th. We're going to take a timeout. We'll be back right after this.
McMahon of Saratoga Thoroughbreds, home to 4-time leading New York sires Central Banker, sire of champion New York bred Bank Frenzy.
Bank Frenzy, a hard-fought winner of the Commentator.
And multiple stakes winner Sunday Girl.
Clear winner in the John Hettinger Sunday Girl.
Also standing into mischief's Grade 1 son Provocateur. And top young stallion Solomini, sire of Mike Lee Stakes winner Doc Sullivan. At McMahon of Saratoga Thoroughbreds, celebrating over 50 years of equine excellence.
Well, we've been here since 1910. Started here with my great-grandfather. They moved the operation from Virginia to present-day Claiborne in Paris, Kentucky. Long lineage between my grandfather, Bull Hancock, who was really influential in importing European stallions. And those stallions ended up kind of transcending the American bloodstock, and they're still evident and prevalent throughout the pedigrees today. My father, he had Mr. Prospector. He brought him up from Florida. He's had Danzig. Obviously, Secretariat was his first stallion that he ever syndicated, so he caught lightning in a bottle right off the bat, and I'm trying to do the same thing now. Certainly, we've come along and been really lucky and gotten some really good stallions along the way. Warfront's obviously in the sunset of his career. He's been unbelievable for us. We're looking for someone to fill his shoes, and we're excited about Mindframe. We think he can be that next big horse for us. Annapolis has had his first foals on the ground, and they're looking unbelievable. Certainly Prince of Monaco, he has his first that are in utero, and we're looking forward to those foals in the spring. We've really put an emphasis on our September sale this year, more so than years past. We're feeling confident that we have a really good group, and hopefully the sales results will prove that. We've had a lot of wonderful clients over the years that have really supported us and backed us, and that's been one of the main reasons why we've had the success we've had. We couldn't do it without them. It's hard to be in business for 115 years if you're not doing things the right way. Our motto is do the usual and usually well, and we've always felt like if you take care of the horse is going to take care of you, and we've certainly been lucky in that regard.
Back with you on our Fox Sports 2 coverage. It's brought to you in part by legendary Claiborne Farm, 100 years of doing the usual, unusually well.
Yeah, no, great. Love hearing from Claiborne. Love that they've been sponsored the show from the start. It's the first farm I ever went to in Kentucky. And by the way, a rare winner's circle appearance by Mitch Friedman. Mitch just seems a little winner's circle shy. Not that he doesn't win, but that he doesn't frequently go there. So nice to see him there with this horse.
Spendthrift Farm 2-year-old race of the day and an upset 5-1. Kara's Dream Chaser rolling by the entry. Considerate City. Talked about that interesting pedigree, first time out. Look for that one next start.
Agreed. I agree. Very promising debut for that one.
Let's go to Maggie.
Yeah, the connections of Considerate City. Dr. Ed Messina very happy with the run from her today, but it was all about Kara's Dream Chaser and Dylan, and you had been aboard her in her previous two, but they were on the dirt and they were going short. And boy, does she look like a filly that would love the conditions today.
Yes, Maggie. Yeah, just unfortunate to come off the turf the last time. Just really was waiting to get on the grass. So today was the day. We were really excited with her, and just getting her a good trip around there and see what she has. You know, just broke well, got in a good spot. Santana kind of drifted in the first turn, and she kind of like saw the gap, so she wanted to go for it, but I had to tell her no about that and sit chilly and wait for the stretch. Came through there, got a little tight there on the quarter pole with Flavian's horse, get a little green on me, but a guy was able to shot through there. But once we got daylight, all business. Really took to the grass nicely, and good job with Mitch here. So.
You're joking with him about a noseband, though. But just for our viewers, explain kind of what that equipment does and how it helps you as a rider, especially for one that might want to get a little headstrong with her mouth open.
Yeah, it's just it just gives that little more support where a noseband goes over the nose and prevents them from opening their mouth. And in that first turn, it gave me a little bit of difficulty because the gap was open. She was willing to take control early, and I didn't want her to, as he would use too much. So it makes my job a little bit easier when to relax her and be in control of the situation.
You're telling me, you know, this meet probably sets up for me to be successful, obviously, with this being your second win on the card, but, you know, a lot of seconds and thirds up at Saratoga. So those conditions, those horses come back in those spots, usually means wins.
Yeah, of course. That's what we hope for. So, I mean, we definitely want to get winners up in Saratoga. That's where it's prime time, but just hold on to the business and the horses that I've ridden, and we should be able to get the job done back down here. The money's still the same, so just continuing on and keeping the business and keeping everyone happy.
As you are. Well done here.
Thank you.
All right, Dylan Davis, win number 2 already on the card, Greg.
Should have a pretty productive winner staying here.
I agree, but it's going to be contentious. I think there's going to be a very, very, people are going to be surprised how strong the colony is here this winter. And I've been I think of some of the riders I've seen over the years. I remember when Mike Smith first came to ride in New York, and he was riding here in the winter, and you look through, a lot of great riders spent winters in New York. Byron Ortiz spent a lot of them. Jose Ortiz, Ramon Dominguez, etc.
Kara's Dream Chaser starts off this late pick 5 upset win. Long way to go. It's a very tough sequence the rest of the way. You can follow along, of course, on Naira Bets. We'll set up the Floral Park coming up over the weekend. Talked briefly about it earlier, where Luna Luska, 3-year-old filly, comes in on a 3-race win streak for Gustavo Delgado, including a stakes win at Horseshoe Indy last start.
And I think it's a good spot for the Connections to take a shot here because she's going to have to improve. But I think more than improve, because her last race was a good race, is she has to show she can extend her speed to 6 furlongs from 5 furlongs where she was last time out, and doing it against a couple horses for the Clement barn outside of her that are both very talented horses. So she needs to step forward a little bit. She is controlling the speed of the speeds, I think, from the rail. It's an interesting race.
Every summer, it's such an important meet at Saratoga. You see horses who are very often going to go on and be likely favorites or maybe winners of the Breeders' Cup. Was there a horse that stood out to you this summer that you said, that is my Breeders' Cup horse?
No, because I don't want to handicap that early, but I think we're all on the same page here. I'm rooting for Tom. I'm rooting for Tom Amoss. He had so many good 2-year-olds, and it was fun to be part of that with him, and we kid around a lot on the set, but he's our friend, and if Tom could win a Breeders' Cup race, man, that would just be awesome.
It's our time. That standout 2-year-old for Tom. He's got 3 very good 2-year-olds.
He's not the only one.
Memorized. First time on the turf. Rolls for Chad Brown to kick off the card. Army Gal, much improved 3-year-old filly for Linda Rice. And Kara's Dream Chaser, you just saw, start off the late pick 5 on our opening day from Belmont at the Big A. We'll see you tomorrow at 1 Eastern on FS2.
An Eclipse champion by leading young sire Not This Time. Up to the Mark made an impression in the sales ring, bringing $450,000. He then left his mark on the racetrack. A debut winner at Saratoga before compiling 3 consecutive Grade 1 wins in the Turf Classic at Churchill Downs, the Manhattan Stakes at Belmont, and the Turf Mile at Keeneland. Up to the Mark now seeks to leave his mark as a stallion, standing at Lane's End.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you.
Introducing Peace and Justice, new to New York in 2025. A proven sire with over 200 wins, 16% wins per starts, and one of only 2 New York-based stallions to have a graded stakes winner at Saratoga in 2024. Now, with 3 different racing surfaces coming to New York, and with New York breds running for equal purses as open company, Peace and Justice is the sure choice for 2025. Peace and Justice, now standing at Irish Hill and Duchess View Stallions in New York.
New York breds. Race them.
Respect them.
Bet them.
Respect them.
Breed them.
Respect them.
Buy them.
Respect them.
Train them for a second career.
Respect them.
Join us in respecting thoroughbreds at every stage of life. Learn more at nybreds.com.
As they say,
Book 'em, Dano. Prince of Monaco in between. It's going to get very close. Book 'em, Dano.
if you can make it here,
Book 'em, Dano in a thriller. Book 'em, Dano wears him down. Book 'em, Dano under a perfect ride from Paco Lopez to win the True North.
you can make it anywhere.
It's Book 'em, Dano in another stellar display, winning the Alfred G. Vanderbilt going away.
Bucaro, proudly standing in New York at Iron Horse Stallions.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you.
The brilliance of the legendary Arrowgate and the speed and stamina of the sire of sires, Uncle Mo. Introducing Petulante, the first son of Arrowgate to stand in New York after winning handily at first asking.
Petulante! He's got a kick here, and he's going to prove much the best.
He won or placed in all 7 of his lifetime starts, including the Grade 3 Salvatore Mile.
Petulante, Nimbus Class, Petulante!
Petulante, now standing in New York. For information, visit IHDVStallions.com today.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
Horses step on the track here for today's fifth race. Race 5 is 6 minutes away. Start of late pick 4, race 5 in 5 minutes. Stepping on the turf course, approaching the gate for race 5. Fifth race field set to load. It's post time. Start of the late pick 4. Screaming Uncle goes in. Alexis Zorba. Java Buzz. Devil in Disguise. Manny Franco to the outside. Goes in. All set. And they're off. Flying from the outside was Java Buzz, as company towards the far outside from Devil in Disguise. Immediately, Santana Jr. taps on the brakes and now has him stacked up in behind. Gets over to the rail. It's Java Buzz. Who's the target? Slipping towards the outside is Spoken Bluntly. Now in the 2-path, 3 wide. That's Devil in Disguise. That's the top trio with At the Rail Typhoon Fury is moving in tandem there with Screaming Uncle and the trailer, Alexis Zorba. They work into the far turn, and they're chasing Java Buzz. Java Buzz, an easy 22.58 opening quarter, doing it nicely. Spoken Bluntly is now trying to cut into the margin, is doing just that, is within 3/4 of a length of the leader. Ground-saving journey is Typhoon Fury. All into the outside, the favorite Devil in Disguise is making hard work of it so far. As they turn for home, Java Buzz is in front. Java Buzz now asks the question, trying to sprint away from the field. Spoken Bluntly still chasing towards the outside. Also looking for room is Alexis Zorba. They're still chasing this lone leader who has inside the final 16th to get. Java Buzz is almost there. Alexis Zorba's lunging late. Here comes the line. It's going to be tight. Give it to Java Buzz. Java Buzz holds on over Alexis Zorba. Flying on late was Typhoon Fury, and 1 minute 8.65 seconds. Unofficial order finish. First, the 6, Java Buzz. Second, the 5, Alexis Zorba. Third, the 2, Typhoon Fury. Fourth, the 1, Spoken Bluntly. 6-5, 2-1, Java Buzz. In 1 minute 8.65 seconds. Into the winner's circle. Winner of today's 5th race, number 6, Java Buzz. He's a 6-year-old gelding bred in Florida by Bishosh out of Agasaya. Winning owner and trainer is Rudy Rodriguez. The winning jockey, Ricardo Santana Jr. 6-5, 2-1. Stand by for prices when race 5 goes official. Race 5 is official. $1 exact is 6-5, $36.16, and the double $68.50. Trifecta $49.59, superfecta $219.59. Pick 3 $191.25, and pick 4 $423.23. Pick 5 early pick 5 returns $1,945.52 in running time. 1 minute 8.65 seconds. Up next, it's race 6. 20 minutes away. Start of the late pick 3. A race 6. Scratch the 6 in 20 minutes. Flying from the outside was Java Buzz, as company towards the far outside from Devil in Disguise. Immediately, Santana Jr. taps on the brakes and now has him stacked up in behind. Gets over to the rail, it's Java Buzz. Who's the target? Slipping towards the outside is Spoken Bluntly. Now in the two-path, 3 wide. That's Devil in Disguise. That's the top trio with At the Rail Typhoon Fury is moving in tandem there with Screaming Uncle and the trailer, Alexis Zorba. They work into the far turn and they're chasing Java Buzz. Java Buzz an easy 22.58 opening quarter, doing it nicely. Spoken Bluntly is now trying to cut into the margin, is doing just that, is within 3/4 of a length of the leader. Ground Saving Journey is Typhoon Fury. All into the outside, the favorite Devil in Disguise is making hard work of it so far. As they turn for home, Java Buzz is in front. Java Buzz now asks the question, trying to sprint away from the field. Spoken Bluntly still chasing towards the outside. Also looking for room is Alexis Zorba. They're still chasing this lone leader who has inside the final 16th to get. Java Buzz is almost there. Alexis Zorba's lunging late. Here comes the line. It's going to be tight. Give it to Java Buzz. Java Buzz holds on over Alexis Zorba. Flying on late was Typhoon Fury, and 1 minute 8.65 seconds.
The brilliance of the legendary Arrowgate and the speed and stamina of the sire of sires, Uncle Mo. Introducing Petulante, the first son of Arrowgate to stand in New York after winning handily at first asking.
Petulante! He's got a kick here, and he's going to prove much the best.
He won or placed in all 7 of his lifetime starts, including the Great Prix Salvatore Mile.
Petulante, Nimbus Class, Petulante!
Petulante, now standing in New York. For information, visit ihdvstallions.com today.
Adelphi Racing Club offers the unparalleled excitement of owning thoroughbred racehorses at a fraction of the cost. We're not just a syndicate, and our members aren't just investors. We are partners. Our New York-based high-performing equine athletes, trainers, and jockeys compete and win at the highest level circuits. Contact us online to get a taste of the Adelphi difference, and let's win races together.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
Field steps on the track here for today's 6th race. Race 6, 6 minutes away. 7 furlongs is the distance. Scratch the 6, race 6 in 6 minutes. Field approaching, and now at the gate, it's post time for today's 6th race. Start of the late pick 3 on this Thursday afternoon. Ocala Dream and Amundsen. Concord Spirit. Glint. Thrill of It. Shipsational. Takes Charge Smiling. Neuschwanstein to the outside. Goes in. All set. And they're off. Good speed from Shipsational in between horses. Very tightly bunched as Amundsen is now asked for more as a neck in front. Very tightly packed. They hook up with the backstretch now, and to the outside Takes Charge Smiling is right there. Is moving forward, is challenging for early supremacy. Neuschwanstein is just watching them from 3rd, and now backing off with Shipsational back to 5th. Gets passed to the inside by Ocala Dream. Also Thrill of It has got forward momentum, and the 2 at the back is Glint with the trailer. Concord Spirit. 23.50. They start to spread out now as they approach. 4 furlongs left to go. The leader is Amundsen, and Amundsen with a half-length advantage over Takes Charge Smiling is right within range as they're well into the far turn now. Trying to keep up as Ocala Dream is shoved along by Silvera. Neuschwanstein is losing some ground, and towards the outside here comes Glint. Glint in the purple cap is trying to launch a rally with Thrill of It. The rest with a lot of running to do. Amundsen is doing it nicely, hugs the rail, and Amundsen ready to get the cue to kick for home. Amundsen is trying to shake loose. Takes Charge Smiling is not going away, and these two brush shoulders here, now head and head as they've got an 1/8 of a mile to go. And pushing forward, it's Takes Charge Smiling. Takes Charge Smiling has a 16th left to go, is extending the margin. Takes Charge Smiling, hand ride. Ricardo Santana Jr. picks up another one. Takes Charge Smiling over Amundsen, then a tight photo. Thrill of It with Ocala Dream in 1 minute 23.52 seconds. Order finish. First the 8, Takes Charge Smiling. Second the 5, Amundsen. Third the 7, Thrill of It. And fourth the 1, Ocala Dream. 8-5, 7-1, 2 wins on the day for Ricardo Santana Jr. Stand by for prices. 8-5, 7-1. Winner of today's 6th race, the 8, Takes Charge Smiling. He's a 4-year-old gelding, bred in Kentucky by Take Charge Indy out of Northern Smile. Winning owner, Moshi Mark. Winning trainers, Carlos David. The winning jockey, Ricardo Santana Jr. Running time, 1 minute 23.52 seconds. Race official, the $1 exacta 8.5, $14.75. The double, $46.31, and trifecta $54.19. Superfecta $678.57, and the pick 3, $245.19. Final run time, 1 minute 23.52. Up next, it's race 7. Race 7, 22 minutes away. Scratch the 1, 1A, and 5. Race 7 in 22 minutes. And they're off. Good speed from Shipsational in between horses, very tightly bunches. Amundsen is now asked for more as a neck in front, very tightly packed. They hook up with the backstretch now, and to the outside Takes Charge Smiling is right there. Is moving forward, is challenging for early supremacy. Neuschwanstein is just watching them from 3rd, and now backing off with Shipsational back to 5th. Gets past to the inside by Ocala Dream. Also Thrill of It has got forward momentum, and the 2 at the back is Glint with the trailer. Concord Spirit. 23.50. They start to spread out now as they approach. 4 furlongs left to go. The leader is Amundsen, and Amundsen with a half-length advantage over Takes Charge Smiling is right within range as they're well into the far turn now. Trying to keep up as Ocala Dream is shoved along by Silvera. Neuschwanstein is losing some ground, and towards the outside here comes Glint. Glint in the purple cap is trying to launch a rally with Thrill of It. The rest with a lot of running to do. Amundsen is doing it nicely, hugs the rail, and Amundsen ready to get the cue to kick for home. Amundsen is trying to shake loose. Takes Charge Smiling is not going away, and these two brush shoulders here, now head and head as they've got an 1/8 of a mile to go. And pushing forward, it's Takes Charge Smiling. Takes Charge Smiling has a 16th left to go, is extending the margin. Takes Charge Smiling, hand ride. Ricardo Santana Jr. picks up another one. Takes Charge Smiling over Amundsen, then a tight photo Thrill of It with Ocala Dream in 1 minute 23.52 seconds.
Deep in the heart of horse country, from these Kentucky hills has sprung a legacy rivaled by few. From the all-time greats of yesterday to the breed-shaping bloodlines of today, our roots hold strong with the promise of tomorrow. For over a century, our passion has guided us to where we stand and everything we stand for. Claiborne Farm, the tradition continues.
There's a big, bold, beautiful world waiting to be explored by you and your friends, of course. But not just any friends, the best of friends. The kind of friends who let you do you. Because in this world, it's positive vibes only. And when you get in the zone here, you stay a while. These aren't just good times, they're the best of times. And your time is now. So come explore. Resorts World.
Introducing Peace and Justice, new to New York in 2025. A proven sire with 200 winners, 16% winners lifetime, and one of only 2 New York-based stallions to have a graded stakes winner at Saratoga in 2024. Now, with 3 different racing surfaces coming to New York, and with New York breds running for equal purses as open company, Peace and Justice is the sure choice for 2025. Peace and Justice, now standing at Irish Hill and Duchess View Stallions in New York.
Horses step on the track here for today's 7th race. Race 7, a mile and a 16th, inner turf. Scratch the 1, 1A, and the 5. Race 7, late double, 5 minutes. Horses stepping on the turf course, approaching the gate for race 7. Seventh race field is set to load. It's post time. Gallant Greta, Snowy Evening. First 2 to move forward. Red Burgundy. Here's Burnt Again. Can't Fool Me. First time in forever. North End Lady to the outside. Is in. All set. And they're off. Red Burgundy broke beautifully towards the inside as the gray and has the lead. Company towards the outside from first time in forever. It's a moderate tempo as they quickly come out of the chute. And the leader is Red Burgundy. Red Burgundy and Ricardo Santana Jr. right up top. And they're up by a length and a half, almost 2. First time in forever is really slowed down in that second grouping as they're tightly packed against the runaway leader in Red Burgundy, who works into the turn. First time in forever is to the outside here of Gallant Greta, their second and third. Wide Journey for North End Lady is trying to tuck in and save some ground is in fourth. At the rail, Snowy Evening Orange Cap is joined in tandem with Tour Jete. The 2 at the back, that's Burnt Again with Can't Fool Me. They work up the back stretch and they're chasing Red Burgundy. Red Burgundy 23 and 4 for that opening quarter mile. Lets it out a notch, and Red Burgundy at 9-2, doing it nicely, is up by 2.5. Here comes North End Lady. Dylan Davis there on the move. They're in second to the outside of Gallant Greta. Losing ground was Joel Rosario, and first time in forever is now back to fourth, and Snowy Evening in a tight spot here is moved through at the rail. Outside, Yellow Cap is Tour Jete, as now the 2 back markers are trying to warm up to the task. On the move, Can't Fool Me there with Burnt Again. Red Burgundy is just cruising right along, approaching a quarter mile left to go, reaches the top of the lane, and Santana has got a handful right now on Red Burgundy. Gallant Greta is ready to pounce, and here comes Gallant Greta after the leader. Red Burgundy tried to slow things down, but Gallant Greta and Flavienne Pratt are now sprinting away. Can't Fool Me from far out of it. Snowy Evening, late run toward Jete. Gallant Greta got the jump. Can't Fool Me is lifting late. Gallant Greta needs the line. Can't Fool Me in the final lunges. Oh, it's a tight photo. 2 noses on the line. Gallant Greta trying to hold off the oncoming charge of Can't Fool Me toward Jete and Snowy Evening in 1:42.31. Order finish. First the 8, Can't Fool Me. Second the 2, Gallant Greta. Third the 4, Torjate. Fourth the 7, Snowy Evening. 8-2, 4-7 in race 7. Into the winner's circle, the winner of today's 7th race. The 8, Can't Fool Me. She's a 6-year-old. Bred in New York by Frost Giant out of Brazo de Oro. Winning owner, Roger Simbora Jr. The winning trainer, Horacio De Paz. The winning jockey, Manny Franco. Owned and bred by Roger Simbora Jr. Can't Fool Me at 19-1. Stand by for prices, 8-2, 4-7. Race official. $1 exacta 8-2, $63.89. The double, $100.91, and trifecta $138.47. Superfecta $1,926.34, and pick 3, $806.24. Grand Slam, $109.72, and running time 1:42.31. Coming up, race 8, 8th and final on the program, 19 minutes away. Scratch the 6 and the 7. Race 8 in 19 minutes. And they're off. Red Burgundy broke beautifully towards the inside as the gray and has the lead. Company towards the outside from first time in forever. It's a moderate tempo as they quickly come out of the chute. And the leader is Red Burgundy. Red Burgundy and Ricardo Santana Jr. right up top. And they're up by a length and a half, almost 2. First time in forever is really slowed down in that second grouping as they're tightly packed against the runaway leader in Red Burgundy, who works into the turn. First time in forever is to the outside here of Gallant Greta, their second and third. Wide Journey for North End Lady is trying to tuck in and save some ground, is in fourth. At the rail, Snowy Evening Orange Cap is joined in tandem with Torjate. The two at the back, that's Burnt Again with Can't Fool Me. They work up the back stretch and they're chasing Red Burgundy. Red Burgundy 23 and 4 for that opening quarter mile. Lets it out a notch, and Red Burgundy at 9-2, doing it nicely, is up by 2.5. Here comes North End Lady. Dylan Davis there on the move. They're in second to the outside of Gallant Greta. Losing ground was Joel Rosario, and first time in forever is now back to fourth, and Snowy Evening in a tight spot here is moved through at the rail. Outside, Yellow Cap is Torjate, as now the two back markers are trying to warm up to the task. On the move, Can't Fool Me there with Burnt Again. Red Burgundy is just cruising right along, approaching a quarter mile left to go, reaches the top of the lane, and Santana has got a handful right now on Red Burgundy. Gallant Greta is ready to pounce, and here comes Gallant Greta after the leader. Red Burgundy tried to slow things down, but Gallant Greta and Flavienne Pratt are now sprinting away. Can't Fool Me from far out of it. Snowy Evening, late run toward Jate. Gallant Greta got the jump. Can't Fool Me is lifting late. Gallant Greta needs the line. Can't Fool Me in the final lunges. Oh, it's a tight photo. Two noses on the line. Gallant Greta trying to hold off the oncoming charge of Can't Fool Me toward Jate and Snowy Evening in 1:42.31.
2025 Global Symposium on Racing. It's the premier networking event of the year. Connect with the who's who of racing. Collaborate face-to-face with key decision makers. Be a part of the international conversation. Discover the latest technology and innovation. Join us December 8th through 10th. Register at racingsymposium.com.
As they say,
Book 'em, Dano. Prince of Monaco in between. It's going to get very close. Book 'em, Dano.
if you can make it here,
Book 'em, Dano in a thriller. Book 'em, Dano wears him down. Book 'em, Dano under a perfect ride from Paco Lopez to win the True North.
you can make it anywhere.
It's Book 'em, Dano in another stellar display, winning the Alfred G. Vanderbilt going away.
Bucaro, proudly standing in New York at Iron Horse Stallions.
New York breds. Race them.
Respect them.
Bet them.
Respect them.
Breed them.
Respect them.
Buy them.
Respect them.
75 now 700. Train them for a second career.
Respect them.
Join us in respecting thoroughbreds at every stage of life. Learn more at nybreds.com.
Field steps on the track here for today's 8th race. Race 8, 1 mile the distance. Scratch the 6 and the 7. Race 8, 5 minutes. Approaching the gate for race 8. At the gate, it's post time. Post time for the 8th and final on the program. Fortuna Mia steps forward. Here's Bera. Looks first. Adrian. Purloin to the outside. Goes in. All set. And they're off. Good speed from Fortuna Mia towards the inside, is up with the early kick, and trying to join from the outside there is Carrara. That's the top duo as they are moving out of the chute, and the leader is Fortuna Mia, who's up by a neck, joined by Moon Cash. Directly to the outside is going to stalk that early pace setter at the rail, moving on through. Here comes Sight to See. He's going to really stack up as they back off the early pace. Moving forward, Looks First is tightly bunched, is now taken third, is in the red blinker center of the racetrack. Sight to See is now back to fourth, joined to the outside by Baby. Sasakaya in fifth, then in sixth. Wide journey for Carrara. Bera is towards the back end of the field with Adrian, and the trailer, Purloin. They still work up the backstretch, and they're chasing the big long shot in Fortuna Mia. 23.44 for the opening quarter mile, has a half mile left to go. Will work into the far turn. Looks First is ready to join, and here comes Lane Luzzy on Looks First through a 47-second flat. Half mile time, 2 long shots up top. Here comes Carrara, is ready to rally, is now making a 3-wide run. Carrara is on the move, and the blue cap is now taken third and challenging. Sight to See is down towards the inside, is trying to make up some ground on Fortuna Mia. As they approach the top of the stretch, Fortuna Mia, Ruben Silvera, 25-1, trying to run them right off their feet. It's Fortuna Mia who's now kicking for home. Looks First. Carrara is now rolling on the outside. Purloin is launching a huge rally. Purloin is down towards the inside and coming out to the leader, Adrian, from far out of it too. Fortuna Mia has a 16th of a mile to get. Adrian catching with every stride, grandstand side. Adrian, Fortuna Mia got it. Fortuna Mia at 25-1 over Adrian. Then came Purloin and Baby Sasakaya in 1 minute 37.71 seconds. Into the winner's circle, the winner of today's 8th race, Number 3, Fortuna Mia. 3-10-11-2, Fortuna Mia. She's a 3-year-old, bred in Kentucky by Vacoma, out of Windy Lane. Winning owner and trainer, Eddie Barker. The winning jockey, Ruben Silvera. Fortuna wins the finale at 25-1. Running time, 1 minute 37.71 seconds. Race 8, it's official. $1 exacta 310, $94.48. The double, 8-3, $614.41. Trifecta, $267.51. Superfecta, $11,830.64. The pick 3, $2,233.90. Pick 4, $11,425.27. The late pick 5, $35,531.95. In the pick 6, 5 out of 6, $1,951.30. And we have a carryover in the pick 6. Starting off the Belmont at the Big A. Meet with the pick 6 carryover, $35,123.46. That will be for our Friday afternoon program. 9 races on the card tomorrow for a Friday afternoon, Belmont at the Big A. First post time tomorrow is 1:10. Carryover in the pick 6, $35,123. It awaits you when you come on back and join us here tomorrow for a Friday afternoon of great racing action with the New York Racing Association. Once again, we send along our thoughts and remember all those great heroes those who have fallen on this September 11th. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be back here tomorrow for Belmont at the Big A. Good night. Good speed from Fortuna Mia towards the inside, is up with the early kick, and trying to join from the outside there is Carrara. That's the top duo as they are moving out of the chute, and the leader is Fortuna Mia, who's up by a neck, joined by Moon Cash. Directly to the outside is going to stalk that early pace setter at the rail, moving on through. Here comes Sight to See. It's going to really stack up as they back off the early pace. Moving forward, Looks First is tightly bunched, is now taken third, is in the red blinker center of the racetrack. Sight to See is now back to fourth, joined to the outside by Baby. Sasakaya in fifth, then in sixth. Wide journey for Carrara. Beira is towards the back end of the field with Adrian, and the trailer, Purloin. They still work up the backstretch, and they're chasing the big long shot in Fortuna Mia. 23.44 for the opening quarter mile, has a half mile left to go. Will work into the far turn. Looks First is ready to join, and here comes Lane Luzzy on Looks First through a 47-second flat. Half mile time, 2 long shots up top. Here comes Carrara, is ready to rally, is now making a 3-wide run. Carrara is on the move, and the blue cap is now taken third and challenging. Sight to See is down towards the inside, is trying to make up some ground on Fortuna Mia. As they approach the top of the stretch, Fortuna Mia, Ruben Silveira, 25-1, trying to run them right off their feet. It's Fortuna Mia who's now kicking for home. Looks First. Carrara is now rolling on the outside. Purloin is launching a huge rally. Purloin is down towards the inside and coming out to the leader, Adrian, from far out of it too. Fortuna Mia has a 16th of a mile to get. Adrian catching with every stride, grandstand side. Adrian, Fortuna Mia got it. Fortuna Mia at 25-1 over Adrian. Then came Purloin and Baby Sasakaya in 1 minute 37.71 seconds.